All right, man. What's happening? What's happening? We're about to get this thing going. We won't waste too much time. Let's get some intro music. Just to let people fall in. Uh, we're gonna keep it going. It ain't no surprise what we're gonna be talking about. So we're just gonna add some more layers to it. So yeah, peace to everybody. Boom. See how I'm looking. Yeah. All right. We good? Keep it natural as always, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Okay. I need to get hold on. Okay. All right, so we back. All right, so won't play that no more. All right, so put a one in the chat. You guys can hear me. Let's get the ones. Let's get the ones in the chat if you guys can hear me. Get the ones in the chat. You guys can hear me. It's having too much fun there, huh? All right, so all right, cool. All right, let's get to it. Yep. Let's get back to that. So we good. All right. All right, so check it. All right, we're good. We got lift off. All right. So we're gonna go a lot of different places with this in order to get the information where we need it to be. Hold on, let me get back into my thing. Let me get back on my phone. Boom. All right, so we back on point. All right. I only got one person in the chat. Did they kick you guys out again? All right. Okay, cool. Where you guys at? Where you guys at? Where are you guys at? Where you guys at? Where you guys at? You guys in the building? All right, we're about to get started though. We are about to get started. We are about to get started. Boom. We're going to start off with some information. Just talking about people that actually getting it done. People that are getting it done. All right. That's some good eating. That's some good eating.
It's going around searching them down for the needle. And he saying, Palm a needle is running. Palm a needle is running. They'll say that needle ain't running. Palm a needle is running. Palm a needle ain't running. Palm a needle is running. And they're searching them up and down. Catch a palm a needle is running. Catch that needle is running. And finally they'll catch the palm a needle. And he said, palm a needle is running. Palm a needle is running. That's in the ring.
It's that work.
I'm trying to comment right now, but someone recently asked me, why is it that I was so confident that Native Americans have never had any type of 1870 or 1880 census records? And it actually started about 6 months to a year prior to that, when I was actually on their head about providing sort of evidence that they had lived in the southeastern United States prior to Indian removal. Well, honestly, I was being generous because I never found any type of evidence of that either. However, I moved it up to talking about the census records because we know exactly when the Native Americans actually showed up in this, you know what I'm saying, U.S. territory, which is post Alaskan Purchase. Prior to that, none of the motherfuckers over here. So ultimately, the reason why you never found any Native Americans in the Southeast allegedly working alongside by side by enslaved Africans, which ain't none, is because, well, they wasn't here. Challenge is still open. Prove me wrong.
Now, under the circumstances, everybody has actually taken this Indian Removal Act thing to its core of it actually happened. The one thing that we don't pay attention to is the word act, ACT. So in the meantime, let's do a quick dive over here. Let's go to the word act. Definition. Okay, so an act is a versatile term that refers to something done, a law, or a performance. So noun, action, or deed, a single thing that someone does. Law, a formal product of a legislative body, such as an act of Congress or an act of Parliament. Remember plenary powers or plenary doctrine, doctrine of discovery. These acts are done through legislative body. In order to create something for an advantage for Congress. Okay? So let's continue.
Children. Between 1854 and 1929, approximately 250,000 children were loaded onto trains in New York, Boston, and Philadelphia and transported to rural communities across the Midwest and West. The orphan train movement, organized primarily by the Children's Aid Society, founded in 1853 by Charles Loring Brace and later by the New York Foundling Hospital. At stops along the route, the children were displayed in what contemporary accounts describe as auction-like events. Farming families inspected them, evaluated their size and apparent health, and selected the ones they wanted. Many were taken to work fields. Less than half were actual orphans. The rest were children of immigrants, children of the poor, children whose parents couldn't afford to feed them or couldn't fight the institutions that took them. An estimated 30,000 children lived on the streets of New York City in the 1850s alone. But here's the detail that nobody discusses. Upon arrival in their new communities, older children were strongly encouraged, sometimes required, to break all contact with their past. Names were changed.
Look at that building. Look at that structure. That's not a building. What is that? Look at that.
Origins were not recorded or were recorded inaccurately. The organizations that ran the program kept spotty records at best. Many children could not.
Look at that. Trains.
Tell their own grandchildren where they came from because they genuinely didn't know. 250,000 Americans whose identities were functionally severed. An entire generation disconnected from their own history by institutional design. The timing is precise. The orphan trains ran from 1854 to 1929. The fires occurred in 1871. The giant photographs clustered between 1850 and 1900. Tartaria vanished from maps in the mid-1800s. The architectural transition from grand classical to simplified modern happened in the same window. And the 1890 census, the one record that would have documented every single person alive during this transition, was eliminated. Not coincidence. Pattern. And then there were the children. Between 1854 and 1929.
There you go.
Told you the tallest state capitol. Building in the United States isn't in New York or Texas. It's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Louisiana State Capitol rises 450 feet tall, about the height of a 40-story skyscraper. It was built in the 1930s, when most state capitol buildings still looked like ancient Roman temples with massive domes. Instead, Louisiana built something completely different, an Art Deco skyscraper. It looks more like a New York office tower than a traditional government building. But the story takes a darker turn. The man who pushed for the building, Governor Huey P. Long, was assassinated inside the Capitol in 1935, only a few years after it opened. Today, visitors can ride an elevator to the observation deck at the top and see the Mississippi River stretching for miles. But it raises an interesting question. Why did Louisiana build the tallest capitol in America? Was it about progress, power, or something else entirely? What if I told...
Now, the question is, was this actually built during that time? I mean, if you look at the structure, that could be built in that little time. I don't know. I don't know about that. Now, we're going to end off with this one. Now, this is it's a continuation, right? My brother sent me this one, so it's interesting, Nadi, if you're listening. This is that same judge. New situation. Check this out.
This man a whole case. Bro.
Where would they take it
This was a quiz.
to get U.S.
Study this
dollars?
shit. Learn son.
Where would they take it? They would take it out of my trust account.
Out of your trust.
Yes.
Where is this trust located?
Oh, I have a trust in them.
Okay, let's say we all do. We're not accepting your premise, but let's say we all do. Where is your trust located?
I'm not sure where it's located, Your Honor. But
So if they wanted U.S. dollars for this thing you purport to be a check, you can't tell them where to take it.
in the Treasury,
Which treasury?
the Treasury.
Oh, so they have to go to the U.S. Treasury with this thing that purports to be a check. Really?
They're pulling from the Treasury. That's why they asked my information.
Who's pulling from the treasury?
Peninsula Place, Your Honor.
So Peninsula Place is pulling from the U.S. Treasury.
I'm attached to my name, my social, and my information.
So they're pulling from the U.S. Treasury because of that?
Say it again.
So because of that, they're pulling from the U.S. Treasury?
I mean, they're charging that account again. So this account has my information tied into it, which is which is showing that it's already prepaid. So what they're trying to do is Peninsula is trying to make me repay.
You've never paid anything, so they're not trying to make you repay. They're trying to make you pay.
So how did we get here if I never provide if I provided my information to Peninsula Place?
We got here because you have never provided them anything to pay on this account in US dollars or anything evidencing US dollars. That's how we're here. 5 months. You haven't done that.
So in the contract, it says payment and it specifies what type of payment.
I'm asking you, have you paid them in US dollars?
Not paid credit.
But you have no credit.
Yeah, this is evident.
In order, hold on. In order to pay in credit, if you will, you must have something that evidences a balance on that. I've already asked you once. Why not? I'll ask you again. Show me something that evidences the credit.
It shows the credit. It's birth certificate and the social security number showing my line of credit that I applied.
So how much is in that line of credit?
How much is in the line of credit?
If you got a line of credit, it's got to have a value. So how much is in it?
I believe everybody has $1 billion.
I didn't ask it everybody. I'm asking how much is in your line of credit.
But with the Peninsula Place?
No, I'm asking you. You're saying that your birth certificate and the social security, you have a line of credit. I don't believe that to be the case. But what the heck? Let's ask you, how much is then in your line of credit? If you're not sure how much is in there, and you give them this thing that evidences, as you're saying, let's just take this 1 month of $662.12, you don't know if that can be subtracted from that credit you're supposed to pay.
I'm believing at least $1 billion worth of credit.
Oh, you have $1 billion worth of credit.
We all have credit.
Well, I'm not worried at this point about anybody else's credit. I'm worried about yours. So you're saying you have $1 billion, but you have nothing that shows me that you have $1 billion worth of credit.
This is where bill of exchanges are needed. Trust. This is what they do. Face value, prima facie. Your own due diligence. Y'all got to get on this shit.
Mr. Lane, plaintiff is claiming that you owe them $3,320.17. Tell me every reason why I should not give them a judgment for that amount.
Going against the Michigan Consumer Protection Act.
What particular provision are you claiming of the Michigan Consumer Protection Act?
Enter into a consumer transaction in which the consumer waives reports to waive right benefit or benefit provided by laws unless a waiver in clear state and the consumer has specified consent to it. I never gave no consent.
What have they asked you to waive?
They would ask me to waive my rights.
To what?
Consumer.
Is it consumer of what?
Is that a consumer of what?
Yeah.
Of this. That's right.
What rights did they ask you to waive?
My interest.
What interest?
Interest in this so-called contract.
Judge played with this man the whole case, bro.
Where would they take
This
it?
was a quiz.
All right. See, this is where we have issues. We have issues. If you actually see what's going on here, hold on. If you actually see what's going on here, right? A lot of these, and let me know if I'm echoing here. I'm trying to get my other thing off. I wanted to put Big Dog up there. Give me a second. I want to get this out of here real quick. I want to get my other self out of here. But the judge was trying to help him out. He was trying to help him out. He did not understand how to get out of that situation right there. Yo, I'm on the live, man. Call me back. Call me back. I'm on the live. All right. So the circumstances what we're dealing with is the judge was trying to help him out. I'm trying to figure out how to get the heck up out of here. Boom, boom. How do you deal with this thing, man? One of y'all help me. Boom. That. I'm just trying to figure out how to get out of this thing, man. I don't know how to get out of there. So, listen. Man, how the hell I get out of here? I'm trying to get this other one. This is irritating the shit out of me. All right, so I'm trying to figure it out. Boom. Y'all got to give me a second. No. No. Okay, so boom. At the stage, unmute, edit name. No. All right, so look. I know I could do that. All right, so under the circumstances, right? The judge is trying to help him. He asked him where this is located. He put a number on it too as well. He really didn't understand what actually to say. Really didn't know what to say. See, this is where people have these issues. What's up, Darvis? Hang tight. Don't go nowhere. So yeah, and I'm gonna bring you guys up in a little bit. But what we're dealing with here is an issue in regards to actually understanding how the situation works. But we're going to leave that there for right now. We're going to talk about when I bring everybody up. So hit the like button. We are going to go into some of these documents that I have. Now, what I also want to do is I want to go into some of the things that I touched on yesterday, what I was going to talk about today, and I got to do that. I want to do that. So that way we can get into right. So this right here is right. So this right here is what they consider to. Okay, so this thing is moving slow. I ain't about to do this. Yeah, they're gonna be moving slow like that. I'm not doing it. But this is the book of what they call the Book of the Dead, the chapters of coming forth by day and by night. Right? There's a lot of language in this book that actually talks about and references place in America. Right? But at this point in time, this thing is moving so slow. I'm not gonna waste time on this. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to go down here to, we're going to go full screen. And we're going to go into a lot of different places. Now, this right here is what you would call books on Egypt and Chaldea. Now, I referenced some pages, right? I referenced some pages regarding this. All right. Wait a minute. We're going to go into some pages real quick. We're going to talk about some of these things that now right here, right? They keep mentioning these two lands. Now, historically, and you guys can fact check me on this, historically, they've always mentioned two lands, and they reference two lands dealing with North and South America. You can also mention Canada too as well, because you don't really need to cross water to get into Canada, because that'll be considered a part of North America. Now, if you look at this document and you read it closely, and I'm just giving you guys some tidbits because I'm gonna go deep into this, and I'm gonna make sure that we cover some of these things and how we can break it down, that it couldn't be somewhere else. It had to be here because all of the markers focus here in America. Okay. Now, when you look right here, right, and you look at this name Heru, and then you actually look at also the names here as well, referencing these names, right, and all the different like short clips that I've showed you, is that if you actually play semantics with the words, all those words can connect you here. Okay, so like you got America, you got Todd Mary, you got Kemet, you got names, you got all these different names that you have in regards to what you reference in the Bible, through archaeology, Egyptology, cosmology, so on and so forth. They all pretty much reference here in America. And I'm going to go deep into that. What I might do, so that way it's clean, I might just pre-record it, then premiere it, and then we'll just go live on top of that. And then we can get some comments on that, right? But what I want to focus on is based when I sent that, showed you that last video with that brother in court, when he was talking about the judge was asking him about this payment or this prepayment and the things that he was saying. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back around so that way we can actually get an idea of what this judge was asking him. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that guy. If he asked me that question, this is what I would say. So we're going to role play. Let's go.
Get U.S. dollars.
No, son.
Where would they take it? They would take it out of my trust, out of your trust. Yes. Where is this trust located?
Okay. So if he asked me, where is this trust located? Now, he said it's located at the Treasury. No, It's not located at the Treasury. Because he's talking about it's being taken out of his trust. That's a no as well. It's not taken out of your trust. There's a one thing that people separate: estate and trust. The estate trust is one thing. Your estate is the name, right? So when somebody passes away, that estate is in the estate. If you've ever been in probate, that estate is in the name of that man or woman that is deceased, that is now considered to be somebody that has descendants, beneficiaries of some sort, or some type of beneficiary of any sort. It don't have to be a son, daughter, or whatever. They have no children. They have someone that they have concluded that will get their assets or what they have or what they built over their time, that they will pass that on to someone in particular, or some ones in particular. So how is this estate trust created? So if he asks me that question, I'm not going to say there's a trust set up, right? I'm going to say they took it out of my estate, utilizing my name in order to provide a service to me. Now, if he still want to press the trust situation, I'm going to say the public trust. Well, he's going to probably say, well, what public trust is that? And I'm going to say Public Law 73-10, which came out of House Joint Resolution 192. That created a public trust that I have a share in. It's not mine. I have a share in that public trust that was created once they removed constitutional form of payment.
Oh, I have a trust something. Okay, let's say we all do. I'm not accepting your premise, but let's say we all do. Where is your trust? Okay.
Now, what the judge said right there, he was being slick with it. He said, yeah. Okay. Well, if that's, I don't accept that, but he used the word accept. He said, I don't accept that. See, right there, that judge is negotiating with him. He's making it's a counter offer. It's an offer and a counter offer. The young man is doing a counter offer, and the judge is counter offering him. Where can we meet in the middle at? So he's asking him questions. So when he's making a statement, the judge is asking him questions. What the judge is doing is making sure that he keeps him in the jurisdiction that he wants him to be. Because at no point in time, this guy is asking a question. He is answering questions. And this judge isn't even supposed to be asking him no questions. That other side is supposed to be asking the questions. Now watch.
I'm not sure where it's located, Your Honor. But so if they wanted U.S. dollars.
And then he says he's not sure where it's located. He's saying that he's not sure where it's located. Let's back up just a little bit.
I'm not sure where it's located, Your Honor.
I'm not sure where it's located, but you know it's there, but you're not sure it's located. Where it's located. I mean, come on, man. You gotta do better.
So if they wanted U.S. dollars for this thing you purport to be a check, you can't tell them where to take it.
A bingo. A bingo. A bingo. Okay, listen to this again. Judge schooling him right now.
You can't. You purport to be a check. You can't tell them where to take it. For this, so if they want, Your Honor, it's located, Your Honor. I'm not sure where it's located, Your Honor. But so if they wanted U.S. dollars for this thing you purport to be a check.
So if they wanted U.S. dollars for you purporting to what is to be a check, look at what the judge is telling him. He's saying, you don't know how to say it. Let me say it for you. Let me express it for you. See if you can pick it up. Let me see if you can pick up what I'm putting down real quick. He said, if they want US dollars, which you are purported to be a check, where do they need to go get it?
You can't tell them where to take it.
In the Treasury.
Which Treasury?
The Treasury.
Oh, so they have to go to the U.S. Treasury with this thing that.
Now, all the dude says is Treasury. He said, oh, you talking about the U.S. Treasury. I mean, goddamn. I mean, this judge is really just helping him out. He really just helping him out here. He said, oh, the U.S. Treasury. With this thing that purports to be a check. So obviously, what happened is this guy probably took the bill and probably gave him some form of some type of check or instrument, or took the presentment that they offered him and he endorsed it in a certain type of way for it to be some form of a check for payment, tender of payment.
Purports to be a check. Really?
And pulling from the Treasury. That's why they asked my information.
Who's pulling from the Treasury?
Peninsula Flex Shatter.
So Peninsula Place is pulling from the U.S. Treasury.
All right. So when he asked, if he was to ask me that question, I would say, where are they pulling this from? He's saying they're pulling it from the Treasury. No, they're not. They're not pulling it from the Treasury. Based on the fundamentals, the mechanics of this thing, based on the mechanics as the rules are stated, right? You got USC Section 12. Really, you got to deal with the Treasury regulations, right? CFR. But we'll just deal with the United States codes, right? You got Title 12, Title 15 in certain instances. You also have UCC subsection 3, 4, 5, and 9 that basically deals with these type of instruments, so on and so forth. Right? They're not pulling it from the Treasury. Based on the fact, that's why you start off with Public Law 73-10, which is reflected in House Joint Resolution 192, and the suspension of the gold standard, meaning Article 1, Section 2, I think Article 1, Section 10, Clause 2, that says all debts must be paid in gold and silver. And you could reference the Mint or the Coinage Act, which states what a dollar is. It's a measurement in a specific type of measurement of gold and a specific type of measurement in silver. I'm not making this up. You can look it up for yourself. But he's saying that they got it from the Treasury. How did they get this from the Treasury? Can't answer that question. All right.
I'm attached to my name, my social, my information.
He said, I got an account attached to my name and my social. See, he's just saying stuff. All he had to say was what I said in the beginning. Nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to talk about. Now, I'm gonna let it keep flowing, then we can.
So they're pulling from the U.S. Treasury because of that?
Say it again.
So because of that, they're pulling from the U.S. Treasury?
So they're charging an account. So this account has my information tied into it, which is showing that it's already prepaid. So what they're trying to do is make me.
Okay, so he says that my information is tied to this account, so that means everything is already prepaid. No, that's not what that means. That just means you agreed to something and to get into this contract, whatever it might be in this agreement, this agreement or obligation, whatever you may have it. That doesn't mean it's already prepaid. Public Law 73-10, House Joint Resolution 192, and its suspension of Article 1, Section 10, Clause 2, makes it prepaid. 18 U.S.C. subsection 8, obligations of the United States. 31 U.S.C. 5118, A2, also subsection D, dealing with the gold clause. That's 31 U.S.C. 5118. 31 U.S.C. 5119, what the Treasury can, may, or may not accept in regards to transferring or redeeming. There you go, redeeming these type of instruments, I would say. Also, you have 12 U.S.C. 411, 412. Okay.
Chancellor is trying to make me repay. You've never paid anything, so they're not trying to make you repay. They're trying to make you pay.
Right. So this is where the judge got out of pocket. He made a statement. So now the judge has actually stepped off the bench and now is speaking and representing. He's now made it very clear that he is now working on behalf of the attorneys on the other side in that company. He pretty much stepped down and started practicing law from there, because then he now created an argument. At the beginning, he was asking questions. But then after that, he just started arguing. He said, no, you didn't. You ain't paid nothing. Well, how do you know? My response is, how do you know that? Now I'm going to get him on the defense. See, because he got the brother on defense, but he ain't never got the dude on defense. He's staying on defense. He ain't jumped on offense, not yet. I would have said, well, how do you know that? How you know I didn't make no payment? What do you mean? Explain that to me. And then he says, this last part, he said, they're trying to make you pay. And I would say, okay, what do you mean by trying? You see what I'm saying? This is where the judge, I tell everybody, you could do anything that you want to do in these situations. It's always going to come down to the judge. And if that judge gets comfortable, he's going to tell you where he stands.
So how did we get here if I never provide, if I provided my information to the Melissa's place? We got here because you have never provided them anything. Okay. To pay on this account.
See, he said it again. He made another statement. How do you know? Were you there? Why are you stepping off that bench to argue with me about my claim? I'm saying that I tendered the payment. They never said anything. They still haven't said anything. Why is that? Why are you talking? That's going to change his whole get down. He's going to either get aggressive, or he's going to shut up, or he's going to try to change lanes and try to manipulate the situation another way, right? That's what's going to happen. But he never does this so far.
In US dollars or anything evidencing US dollars.
He said US dollars or anything evidencing US dollars. You haven't showed anything showing US dollars. So wait a minute. So my question, okay, so what are you telling me? I mean, if you are you telling me that the only way to make this payment is in US dollars? That's my first question back to him. Because now it's just me and him talking. Obviously, they out of it. Obviously, the judge has, by way of the court, right? Because when you deal with trial court, when you mention the court, you mention the judge. When you're talking about the judge, you're mentioning court. So that means that that judge has now took a personal and or financial interest in this matter. So if he's saying that there's no evidence of US dollar, so you're telling me that this form of payment is not acceptable. Are you telling me that the only way to pay is in US dollars? Is that the only way to pay? If that's the case, then all you need to do, Your Honor, is tell me that. Watch what he's going to do. Well, I'm not going to tell you that. Okay, well, you're telling me you're telling me that right now. You're just saying based on you're siding with them, saying that they have a more valid claim than I do, and you're speaking on their behalf, or that's what it seems like to me. So if that's the case, why don't you tell me that the only way I need to pay is in US dollars? And when you tell me that, tell me what form of payment is considered to be US dollars. Because last time I checked, under the coinage act, $1 is your fixed weight in gold and silver, right? See, this judge is very sharp. This is the older brother. He's very sharp. And it's unfortunate, you know, he talks through his nose and everything, that's it. You ain't never, so nothing. You haven't proved nothing. But it's like he's very entertained by this. Like he loves to do this. Like he's taking it upon himself to say, yeah, I beat up another person coming up in here trying to push their sovereignty, and I put him right in his place. You gonna go on that porch and drink that mint julep, ain't ya, boy?
That's how we're here. 5 months. You haven't done that.
Okay. So in the contract, it says payment, and it specifies what type of payment.
I'm asking you, have you paid them in US dollars?
Okay. Very good. That's good. That's a good response. They never specified what form of payment. Very good. Now, if you look at it, you see the attorneys on the other side, they got their mouth open. They just like, they looking over at him, at the guy, and they looking back. It's like they watching a tennis match right now. They looking at the judge, they looking at the other brother. They like going back, like, they like, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing.
Pay credit. But you have no credit.
Yeah, this is evident.
In order, hold on. In order to pay in credit, if you will, you must have something that evidences a balance on that. I've already asked you once. Why not? I'll ask you again. Show me something that evidences the credit.
It shows the credit. This birth certificate and the social security number showing my line of credit that I applied.
So how much is in that line of credit?
What? He said the birth certificate and his social security card showing the credit. No. It's the bill, the billing statement. That's the credit they're showing you that you have for that month. It's the bill.
How much is in the line of credit?
If you got a line of credit, it's got to have a value. So how much is in it?
I believe everybody has $1 billion.
I didn't ask it everybody. I'm asking.
He said $1 billion. He put a number on it.
How much is in your line of credit?
But with the Nestle place, whatever.
No, I'm asking you. You're saying that your birth certificate and the social security, you have a line of credit. I don't believe that to be the case. But what the heck? Let's ask you, how much is then in your line of credit? If you're not sure how much is in there, and you give them this thing that evidences, as you're saying, just take this 1 month of $662.12, you don't know if that can be subtracted from that credit you're supposed to be at.
I'm believing at least $1 billion worth of credit.
Oh, you have $1 billion worth of credit.
We all have credit.
Well, I'm not worried at this point about anybody else's credit. I'm worried about yours. So you're saying you have $1 billion. But you have nothing that shows me that you have $1 billion worth of it.
This is where bill of exchanges are needed. Trust.
No. You don't need bills of exchanges. You don't need to create none of that stuff. Stop it. All you need is to utilize what is offered to you by the servicer. That's all you need. He talking about it's worth billions of dollars. No, I mean, anyway.
This is what they do. Face value, prima facie. Your own due diligence. Y'all got to get on this shit.
Mr. Lane, plaintiff is claiming that you owe them $3,320.17. Tell me every reason why I should not give them a judgment for that amount.
Going against the Michigan Consumer Protection Act.
What particular provision are you claiming of the Michigan Consumer Protection Act?
Enter into a consumer transaction in which a consumer waives or purports to waive right benefit or amendment by laws unless a waiver in clearly state and the consumer has specified consent to it. I never gave no consent.
What have they asked you to waive?
So what they asked me to waive my rights.
To what?
Consumer.
Is it consumer of what?
Is that consumer of what?
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. This is where you get into issues. All right. I had somebody send me a link. They want me to pull up UCC 1-200. All right. Y'all go ahead. Hold on. Let me play this real quick. Let me put this up here. This UCC 1-. One of the people in the chat wanted me to put this up here. 1-210. Action. Agreed party. Agreement. Bank. Bearer. Bill of lading. Branch. Burden. Buyer in ordinary course of business. Consumer. Contract. Creditor. All right. We'll come back to that. Yeah, you got to give me a little bit more than that. Just give me 1-210. I need to know what I'm looking for. All right. So, man. You guys see what I got up on the screen? This is American Jurisprudence, 2nd edition, volume 13, Business Trust. Before we get started, how y'all brothers doing, man? What's happening? Yo. All right, well, let me keep going then. All right, so look. We're going to talk about these business trusts here, right? We're going to talk about this. So that's a sample business trust right there. We're not going to click on that. We want to talk about something in particular, right? We're going to talk about the creation, organization. We're going to talk about shareholders, members, or Sestake trust. Tent. Okay. So we're going to go with this creation. Let's start with creation and organization. All right. Let's get up here to the creation and organization. Right here. So, because a lot of people talk about these trusts, I think they don't understand the basics of the law of it. I'm not a big trust guy. I don't know it too tough. I just really deal with the law of it and trying to get the basics down, how to apply it. So it says right here, definitions and terminology. One of the distinctive devices that by means of which individuals may combine their resources to operate a business for profit is the so-called business trust or Massachusetts trust, which may be comprehensively defined as an unincorporated business organization created by an instrument by which property is to be held and managed by trustees for the benefit and profit of such persons as may be or may become the holders or transferable certificates, evidencing the beneficial interest in the trust estate. Remember I said that earlier. I called it an estate trust. They call it a trust estate. Now you see they got these numbers right here. So there's numbers here that can be referenced based on that. All right. So such an organization has also been frequently termed a common law trust. But this phrase is not descriptive of any of the peculiar characteristics of such organizations. Business trusts are excluded from the coverage of the restatement of the law of trust. And this is some, if you guys are in this stuff, you need to get this restatement, these restatements. It's very important. See, a lot of people don't understand that American jurisprudence, restatements, statutes at large, dealing with fraud, corporate juris secundum. A lot of these books are your foundations. These are kind of like where the Federalist Papers were written in regards to defining or establishing the foundation of what Constitution, law, and all these different type of relationships stand on. Now, I'm just kind of paraphrasing it. It's not verbatim, but this is where American jurisprudence comes in. And then we have corporate juris secundum. You got the restatement of the law of trust. Restatement. We're going to actually break these words down and see exactly what they mean in their root and how it's applied. People take these words and just make a run-on sentence of them. No, it's American jurisprudence or prudence of juris, dealing with what that means in America. Right to left. Okay, so wherein it is pointed out that the business trust is a special kind of business association and can best be dealt with in connection with other business associations. Under the Uniform Commercial Code, the term organization, unless the context otherwise requires, is defined to include a business trust. Now we look at number one, the Massachusetts Trust, right? Number one, so-called because this type of organization has reached its fullest and most extensive use in that state. Number two, when it deals with beneficial interest in trust estate, it states that the Supreme Court of the United States has defined the Massachusetts Trust as a form of business organization common in that state, consisting essentially of an arrangement whereby property is conveyed to trustees in accordance with the terms of an instrument of trust to be held and managed for the benefit of such persons as may from time to time be the holders of transferable certificates issued by the trustees showing the shares into which the beneficial interest in the property is divided. Now, I can't do everything breaking it down one, but can't do that. Now, three, where it says such an organization has also been frequently termed a common law trust. Now, this to me is important, right? Let me tell you why. So it says, see, for instance, Brown versus Donald, right? So they're giving you case law in this matter. Now, everybody knows, right, that the republic was set up under common law, right? Common sense, common law. This is all the Federalist Papers that you have in dealing with all the different aspects of law and pretty much just getting along in order to create this perfect union, right? It's like a marriage. Say the same thing in marriage. It's perfect union. How can you be able to substantiate and get along in this perfect union, right? So the basis for the terminology common law trust in this connection is not that such organizations are the creatures of the common law, as distinguished from equity, but that they are created under the common law of contracts and do not depend upon any statute. Let me read that again. The basis for the terminology common law trust in this connection is not that such organizations are the creatures of the common law, as distinguished from equity, meaning that these organizations are creatures of equity, not of the common law. But equity still falls within common law outside of anything that might be a handshake deal versus something that's considered to be contractual in nature. But that they are created under the common law of contracts, like I said, and do not depend upon any statute. So that means that when you have a business trust, what you would consider to be a common law trust or Massachusetts trust, you actually create that business trust that is superior to any statutes and cannot be pulled in. That's why it's called unincorporated. Unincorporated takes you outside of the statutory realm and it keeps you in the common law realm, so you can't be regulated. That means that now the government is no longer involved. The state no longer involved. The county no longer involved, unless we have some contractual issue that is governed under common law, where therefore you cannot bring me into this administrative type of atmosphere. Now, my point is this. The reason why this is important is because the United States government was born under a republic if they could keep it. In order to have a republic, you have to have common law trust. So if under the circumstances, what this paragraph is saying right here, then what do we have in its whole totality? That the United States could also be considered a business, unincorporated business trust. Under the circumstances, what we're reading right here, because everything that they deal with is supposed to be by common law and equity in their maxims, so on and so forth. Just think about that. Now, number 5, they deal with the restatement of trust, second edition, subsection 1. Comment B, wherein it is further explained that although many of the rules applicable to trust are applied to business trusts, yet many of the rules are not applied, and there are other rules which are applicable only to business trusts. It is appropriate to treat business trusts on a somewhat different basis than private trusts. Okay. Now, you guys there? You guys back? You guys there? Mic check, mic check, mic check. Naughty.
Yeah. Moving something right fast. So go ahead. We listening though. Go ahead.
All right, for sure. All right, cool. Now, I didn't want to stay there because we're gonna bring all these. I'm bringing these other different things in, and then we can get at it. All right, so that's what I want to bring on this. Now, this is something I want to bring up. Right? Are we the enemy of the United States government? Now, this "we" is complicated, right? Because if you're claiming indigenous American, we can pretty much say there's no doubt that we became an enemy to them under some type of silent act that was conducted. Okay. Now, under the circumstances, right, what we dealing with, let's read this. You know, I'm gonna take a break. So I'm gonna let the AI read it. I'm gonna let the AI read it. Hey, I just found out about this, boy. Hey, you can't beat this. Shoot, save my voice. Hold on. All right, there we go. Bam. Hold on, man. Hey, man. I just was working that earlier, man. What y'all doing, man? Come on. Work with me. Work with me.
Anyone astute enough to be reading this paper is well aware of the declaration of war made against the people of the United States as declared by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933. It can be found in Title 12, Section 95, A and B of the United States Code. The question now would be, how does a government go about operating in a situation of declared war against its own people? As a conquered nation, would the Constitution for the United States still be valid? Surely it could not be publicly suspended without an outcry of the people, perhaps even a taking up of arms against the government. Or could a group of politicians sophisticated enough to covertly declare war against the people be sophisticated enough to overtly change the way the government is run? Could a code of international law of war be instituted to replace constitutional government? War does not exist merely because of an armed attack by the military forces of another nation until it is a condition recognized or accepted by a political authority of government which is attacked, either though an actual declaration of war or other acts demonstrating such a position. An internecine war is carried on between opposing masses of citizens of the same country. Before the Declaration of Independence, the war between Great Britain and the United Colonies was a civil war. But instantly on that event, the war changed its nature and became a public war between independent states.
So, remember yesterday when I brought up this case right here. When I brought up this case right here, right? Remember what we was talking about right here. The federal government then inherited the right from Great Britain after the American Revolution. Native Americans cannot sell their land except to the federal government. Now, during that time, wasn't supposed to be no federal government. Wasn't supposed to be set up like that. So what they're saying right here, right? So an internecine war So internecine, when you look at the synonyms, it says internal, inner, costly, domestic, deadly, right? So internecine war is carried on between opposing masses of citizens of the same country. Before the Declaration of Independence, the war between Great Britain and the United Colonies was a civil war. The war between Great Britain and the United Colonies was a civil war. So that means the war, it was an internecine war, which they're saying that it was carried on between opposing masses of citizens of the same country. So these colonies, these people and these citizens of that colonies were citizens of Great Britain. This is what this is saying. See, all these people will be saying, well, there was Indians in the United Colonies and these colonies and so on and so forth. They was participating. No, they was not. Let me show you guys real quick so I can show you again. Let me show you again the 13 colonies. Let me show you this. 13 colonies. I'm getting off a little bit on this, but I got to show you the 13 colonies, right? That's the picture. This is the 13 colonies. That's it. Now, if you actually put that on actual land, you're seeing that these certain places are just carved out of the main, what you would consider main places. And these places were named. Okay? That's it. So if there were actual people that actually was considered to be indigenous to the land and they stayed there, they're no longer considered to be indigenous Indians and have that status or those exemptions. You don't have them anymore. Stop it.
A mixed war is one in which war is made on one side by public authority and on the other side by mere private persons. A perfect war is one in which a whole nation is at war with another whole nation. But when the hostilities are limited as respects places, persons, and things, the war is claimed to be imperfect. A solemn war is made in form by a public declaration, a war solemnly declared by one state against another. A public war is every contention by force between two nations under the authority of their respective governments.
Now, if there was actually a war that actually happened, where is the declaration? Where is it public? Where is the public declaration that we are at war with them? And the other side says that we are at war with them. There's two public declarations on both sides. One side is at war and the other side don't know. Okay. Now, that's all I pretty much want to show on this one. Now, okay, now this is what you consider to be the American Slave Code in theory and practice. Its distinctive features shown by its statutes, judicial decisions, and illustrative facts. Truth is stranger than fiction. Modern maxim. Statutes against fundamental morality are void. Statutes against fundamental morality are void. This is by William Goodell, author of Democracy of Christianity and History of Slavery and Anti-Slavery. You should grab those. So New York, American and Foreign Anti-Slavery Society, 48 Beekman Street, 1853. Entered according to Act of Congress in the year 1853 by William Goodell in the clerk's office of the District Court of the United States for the Southern District of New York. Here's the contents. Chapter 1, slave ownership, slave traffic, seizure of slave property for debt, inheritance of slave property, uses of slave property. Slaves cannot marry, slaves cannot constitute. I'm going to go through them. You can look at them real close. This is what we got going on. So you got that. You know, this will be up so you can play it back. All right. So a lot here. Okay, so part 3, relation of the slave code to the liberties of the free. Chapter 1, liberties of the free people of color. Let's read these. The free people of color, though not in a condition of chattelhood, are constantly exposed to it, and at best enjoy only a portion of their rights. Chapter 2, liberties of the white people of the slaveholding states. Let me close my front door. What is noisy out there? All right, liberties of the white people of the non-slaveholding states. The rights of the white people of the non-slaveholding states are directly and indirectly invaded by the slave code of the slave states. Their liberties, to a great extent, have already fallen in sacrifice and can never be secure while slaveholding continues. Let me read this again for you. The rights of the white people of the non-slaveholding states are directly and indirectly invaded by the slave code of the slave states. Do you understand what I just read to you? Their liberties, to a great extent, have already fallen a sacrifice and can never be secure while slaveholding continues. Now, this is 1853. What came during that time? What was going on during that time? The so-called Civil War, right? And they were trying to free slaves, correct? So right here, with all you people talking about these white folks and how powerful they was, and they was holding slaves and so on and so forth, check this out. Now I'm going to read it again. The rights of the white people of the non-slaveholding states are directly and indirectly invaded by the slave code of the slave states. So white people was not exempt from that either. Now, the bottom line is the only way that you could be white and have that status as white was in non-slaveholding states. Huh? Okay. Let's move on. Concluding chapter, let's see, summary review of the slave code's character effects, requires concern duty of Christians, Christianers, they call them Christianers, church and everything. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. All right. Cool. All right, let me get through this. What up, Nun? Let me get through this real quick. Apologize for that. Hold on. Let me take a look real quick who up here.
Yo, y'all hear me? What's up with y'all, man?
Yeah, I
2Q.
got a phone call. All right, hold
Oh,
on.
okay.
Let me
No,
finish
go
this
ahead,
up.
go ahead. I
Yeah.
was still on.
Go ahead. We hear you, big truck driver. Go ahead.
All right, yo, look, bro. There's a
All
lot of
right,
shit.
so let me
Go ahead,
come
go ahead.
down here to the let me come back down here. Okay, so just want to bring this up real quick. Want to show that so we can get some of this stuff. I'm trying to get down to the where was that at? Okay, chapter 3, Live with White People Non-Slave. Okay, 372. All right, there we go. Okay, so liberty of the white people of non-slave holding states. So I read this part to you already. It says we open here upon a wider field than our limits will permit us to explore. The entire political history of the country, which might occupy volumes, demands attention under this head, but we must pass it by only asking for the reader that he examine it at his leisure. The topics of the last preceding chapter might, for the most part, be introduced here again. The white people of the North and the South suffer in common many of the heavy inflictions of the slave master's lash. If the stroke fall less heavily upon the citizens of the free states, it nevertheless falls, and nonetheless, really because from stupidity induced by long-standing habit, a callous insensibility indicates that it scarcely felt or perceived. In no other way did ever a people once free submit to part with their freedom. A people, says Montesquieu, may lose their liberties in a day and not miss them for a century. Thus it was with Romans, who under the reign of the tyrant Nero had not ceased boasting of their liberties. Okay. All right. Since y'all up here, we can stop right there. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up,
What's
Nani?
going on?
Who else on here, yo? All right.
Got Taz,
What,
we got Nani.
what's up, Chad? What's up, everybody? Aton. Bro, what's the subject? Cause you just doing whatever?
I'm doing whatever right now. I'm jumping around.
Yeah, cause you definitely jumping all around, Jack.
I
would
told
like
you I
that.
was going to do that. I told you I
Well,
was going to do that. I was going to put a lot of shit on the table.
yeah, it was a lot because I think when you study this, man, you're gonna understand it. You jumping from realm to realm. You jumping inside of one jurisdiction into another one, like goddamn, like a hot potato, bro. You just like a what they call them jumping beans, bro. You jumping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Hey.
And I think people don't realize that, bro. You gotta deal with one area, one court for one realm at a time, bro. And you gotta
Let's
clean
deal
up
with
all of them before you can start jumping into finance.
I
Let's
put it
deal,
all
let's
out
deal with
there.
the court case first. Deal with
Yeah,
the court
I,
case
I,
first.
I, I put it all out there so we can have multiple
Yeah,
topics
yeah.
to deal with.
Have a broad discussion. I got you.
Yeah, have a broad. I mean, this was
Yeah,
my day. I said, you know what? I want to put some shit on the table because it's
right.
gonna carry over. But I really
Right.
want to talk about that goddamn court case, man.
Well, the court case, I'm gonna tell you why the dude got jammed up, right? First of all, he don't know the words, first of all. He don't know what words to use. You can't use pay when you're dealing with the public.
Got to
And the problem
set
is,
off. Got to
yeah,
set off.
right, you gotta use words like that, set off or settlement. I mean for discharge, things like that. Or
Or
closure, things like that, bro.
satisfy the
Right, obligations.
obligation.
Right, and because when you do that, you jumping into that jurisdiction. Now that's one point. Another one is this: you can't mix your personal rights, courts of equity, with banking terms. And this is one thing I think people don't really get, because when you're dealing with business, right, you got to
Mm,
also understand that
mm,
business is mixed in with finance. Finance is really separate, but you really can't do business without finance, right? So when you're dealing with the UCC, that's for private banking. Now,
mm-hmm.
banking has its own language. Now, you never heard nobody explain this to you, did you? Because everybody talk about the Black's laws, this, Webster's dictionary, definitions, and law definitions. But you never
Bankruptcy
heard,
court.
huh?
Bankruptcy court is totally different.
Exactly. Look, you never heard nobody. Did y'all ever heard anybody tell y'all that is a banking language? That there is a banking dictionary? Okay, so you gotta understand, when you're dealing in finance, you're dealing with the treasury. That's a whole different realm than law.
It's
You
called
dig?
financial law.
Exactly. You dealing now you in the big boy. You done jump. You done went from public into your private rights. Now you jumping into the big boy pool with the financing, and you can't.
Security
And right.
Security Income Commission. You fucking with the SEC no.
Yeah, dog. So now y'all niggas reading law dictionary. No, dog, nigga, you in the big leagues. You now you got
Hey, hey,
you ain't ready for
hey,
that.
none. You done been
Uh,
around me so long. You know exactly what I be thinking when I be on shit, God.
exactly, bro. Because I understand it, not, and that's why I think people see when you study so you can simplify things. Now everything looks simple to me. Like
Yep.
it ain't hard no more, because I already see what they doing. I already know where the mistakes is made. Who making mistakes? Why you making mistakes? Why I'm not gonna make that mistake? And what to do? What procedures to follow? And you can't follow the same procedures when you're dealing with your personal right called we the people with the Constitution, and then jump into finance, bro. Because finance is a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game, bro. You got to know how to do a banker's acceptance on that birth certificate. You got to know how to flip bonds. That ain't got nothing to do with your law knowledge, Jack. Nothing. Nothing to do with your law knowledge.
You got to know how to scale income. Man, it's so much, bro.
Exactly. You got to know how to work with accountants.
So when
You
you
got
talk in that goddamn language, you better know what the fuck you talking about. That's why that man
yeah,
kept drilling him. Well,
right,
where's your basis of your trust?
right. But
Um,
basically,
um, the
basically when he
Treasury
asked,
Department. Which one? He don't even know
I
which
know he
Treasury
was.
Department.
Aton was right. He was helping him out. Now, what the judge is asking him is where are you drawing your funds from? Where's your bonds to draw these funds from? And where your instructions to show this financial institution how to draw the funds from the Treasury Department with your bond on file.
Which would be a coupon from the Treasury Department already
Right.
approving that goddamn debt.
Exactly.
And he had none of that goddamn paperwork in there but claiming
Nope.
some goddamn 192. And don't know how
Right.
to operate.
Nope. He
Just
wasn't ready
yapping.
for that shit.
Just yapping. This is what I be talking about, bro. A lot of these dudes just think they can talk.
Exactly. You can't talk. Yeah, that's why we say you can't talk your way through that. You gotta have it in writing because why? You have to give them instructions. They're public servants. They don't know shit. So they depending on you to give them instructions on how to draw the funds from the account that's yours. They telling you it's yours, but you the boss, right? You the boss. You the CEO. You gotta tell your employees how to draw the funds.
Mm-hmm.
Big, you all these niggas. That's why I be laughing. All these niggas talking they bosses. You ain't no goddamn boss. A boss tells the government what to do and how to do it. But you a boss though, right?
Yeah, see, this is why I say, like, if you don't know what you're talking about, like, if you gonna get up in there, you better have questions formulated. I mean, that dude was getting dragged in there, and he just kept talking and kept talking and kept talking, answering all the questions. That boy, you dumb as a bag of rocks.
Well, remember the time we was speaking last night, right?
Right?
And I read the presumption, a petition against a rebuttal against the presumption that the state attorney would label me as a sovereign citizen. So what I did is I sat back and wrote down on a paper all the positives, the pros and cons, and all the questions I would ask myself if I was an attorney. So I set up my pre-defense because I was already prepared for the accusation. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had already um had my paperwork in my hand, and soon as he made that statement in court and put it on record, I automatically went down and filed it. Now there's a rebuttal against it immediately because I'm already set up. I knew what the fuck was coming before it came because I know the stance and the tools I'm gonna be using will be in the mind state of this questioning.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to um pre-question myself and have an answer ready. Got to be quick on your feet, quick on your feet, quick on your feet. All them
So
questions he should already know. Where's the Treasury Department at? Where's
exactly.
it? Yeah, he should already have that already in document.
Yeah. He
You
had all his
know,
paper laid out real nice and neat.
right. And
Yeah,
another
everything
thing that
left
I
and right.
do,
It
another
does
thing
his
that I
thing.
do when I file my paperwork, whatever state I'm in, I file that state EIN number, the secondary EIN number for the state, that state revenue office EIN number, and the state judicial and attorney EIN number. I show that every action that they're doing or falling up under is a business structure without contractual agreement, and they're not as a authority based as a sovereignty. They're entities of incorporations.
Mm-hmm.
So now it supersede all those policies that they presume that they have an authority over me, and it takes it out the door, throws it out the door, and ain't no judge going to contest anything I say on my shit because of that fact alone. It's in paperwork. It's in public. They don't want
Okay,
to make no. Go
let
ahead.
me ask y'all a question, right? Now let's put everything we know to the side, except let's say we know basic fundamentals on the New Deal, right? 1933. Under those circumstances, I would say, and I'm not leading you guys to the answer, but my question is this: who is liable for payment in the public?
The citizen, the
Not
United States citizen. My fault. The United States citizen.
okay, not
I agree.
okay. Taz,
He ain't here right now.
they ain't there. All right. I agree as well. Now, the one thing that I would say is being that It may. And the obligation is over to you. How can you get that obligation to be fully paid? Fully paid by the rules as has been stated after 1933. How is that possible? Give me an example.
I've been telling you for years.
Mhm.
You must tie your major account to your minor account. Other than that, your fiduciary, which is the United States acting as, is over that minor account. You're not going to be able to tap into that minor account and pull any funds out. You can approve payments, debts of payments, but and that's going to be through another process too. Like I just said, you're going to have to go to the Treasury Department. I already put in a request for the coupon and turn that coupon in with the bill of bill of exchange when you go and do your um your debt solution.
Right. So coupon, right? Coupon. Let's deal with the coupon. You with us now?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Okay, so let's deal with the coupon. So in this situation, when old boy was right there sitting down, was papers nice and neat. Where was that loss in his conversation? Why didn't he just say that?
Because he didn't do it. He don't know nothing
Bingo.
about it.
There you go. He didn't do it.
He
He
going in
didn't.
half cocked with his ass hanging out.
He did not do it. He didn't do it. You can tell he didn't do it. He's willing to come up there and just get on the soapbox and start preaching to look like a 65, 70-year-old judge that that been
He,
seeing everything coming in and out.
he had a good he had a good argument though.
He did, but it was he was saying too much. The only thing that I say and what he did was proper is that they did not, when he said they did not state what form of payment that they would accept. That's the best thing he said right there to
He
me.
had it. Look, he had a good argument. That's why the judge gave him good information. You see what I'm
He
saying?
did. He did.
So you know what I mean? Because if he came in there with a bad argument, the judge actually was telling him what to do. And anybody that's watching that video that's halfway there, the judge was actually telling you what to do.
Bingo.
You know what I mean? And that's because he had a good argument. So therefore, the judge, in order for the judge to stay in honor, because he couldn't mislead him. You know what I mean? So he asked him the right questions. So I see that right there gives you a different perspective on judges and how they are some good ones out there. And most of them are not, you know what I mean? They're not going to violate their what their duties are. And I gotta admit that judge didn't violate his duty. He actually went the right direction with him. The problem is that guy wasn't ready. He wasn't ready, and the judge knew it. So he knew that he wasn't going to win the case, or he wasn't going to be liable for the debt. You know what I'm saying? But if he understands banking, he gonna get it. Because right now he's not even that far along with the law. So now you got to learn banking, and like I said, that's a whole different animal, bro. That's like, bro, you got to know. I mean, how to communicate with the Treasury Department. You got to know how to file your UCC-1, your 3. You got to know how to do your security agreement, your whole harmless agreement with the entity known as the citizen, which is that all caps name, and instructed through the security agreement. And then the guy that was narrating was saying you got to have what he said, negotiable instruments. That's not, but see, those negotiable instruments have to have instructions on it. And you got to have your account. You got to have your own account, which is numbers that you created, and your own routing number. With the discharge social security number with no dashes, because you got two Social Security. Your public one is the one with dashes. The one without dashes is your private discharge, or your the one that you use for settlement. But you got to communicate with the IRS first and let them know that you're only using this account for for those purposes. When you write on the negotiable instrument, you know what I mean. So people get out here and they narrate and they say words like negotiable instrument, but they don't explain it, bro. Like the step that you got to take, which is, I don't blame them, because it's a process. It ain't something that we can sit on a live and explain to you. You got to actually know this stuff, or you're going to get jammed up like Main Man did in the courtroom. That's why we tell you, you got to know it yourself. We can't just be a template, hold your hand and do it. You got to know this. So you're going to be in court. Then what you going to do? You're going to get online saying niggas don't know what they talking about when it's your fault. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and that's is very important that, and dealing with a lot of people, they kind of do the back and forth with these tenders or whatever. The instrument, the presentment, and I call it a presentment, the presentments that is issued by that entity is actually, it's either one of three things. It's either a payment coupon, or just a coupon, or a remittance coupon. Those things are actually considered to be negotiable. And you can actually utilize those and transfer those under the Negotiable Instruments Act. You can actually take those instruments, negotiate them, and use that as payment. If you look at a bill, it has routing numbers at the bottom, like a check. So, what a lot of people don't understand is now this is just my way of doing things, is people like to create their own instrument, but I'm like, why would you need to create an instrument when they're already giving you one? Now, the other thing, it also is considered to be a dividend as well, because that payment is nothing merely but interest that's going to some form of investment that you don't know nothing about. That's my approach. Now, and I'm telling you, in this whole situation, this is what kept me in good graces, because I never created my own instrument per se in regards to using that payment. If I did create or drafted a promissory note, so I've never done a bill of exchange. But if I did draft a short promissory note, I always attached it to, you know what I'm saying, the billing statement in regards to anything extra that might be out there that we don't know about, that's not being reported on that bill. So, you know, that works. I actually did it with a few things that actually work. You know, the only problem is that a lot of people don't know how to express it. That's why I think you said, like you guys say, he had a good argument. He just didn't know how to, how to spit it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't spit it well, and he didn't have any basic questions or back and forth, because the judge is real cool, just like he was cool on the last one that Donnie showed you. I don't think you was up here on that one, none, but yeah, the same judge. But he is real cool and trying to help these people. And you know what I'm saying? But he just didn't have the proper questions and the responses, and see where he stands in this. I mean, is he neutral? Is he stepping off the bench? Is he practicing law? Or is he really trying to get an understanding of what I'm saying? If I put him in that understanding position, then he's going to have to answer some questions. And then he's going to either have to back off, or he's going to have to come correct and really state his position, which he's not going to do. Now, I'm telling both of you guys, I'm sharing with y'all this, is that there's actually a lot, and this is what I say in regards to, like, if he talking about the treasury and the trust and this and that, and I'm like, what? Like, people really don't understand that if you have these instruments in place and you understand negotiable instruments, like nonetheless is saying, And if you won't know, we could actually get into that on the next one tomorrow. And we could talk about the Negotiable Instrument Act, and we could actually tie it into what is actually going on. People will really get a clear understanding of what, because if you don't do it that way, you'll never be able to get recoupment, set off, or any type of discharge. It's never going to happen because you put more debt out there. And that's what they're utilizing, especially if you don't know how to secure it. You know? I remember back in the day, man, I used to send them guys a book. I used to have a whole cover page. I used to, about 1099 here, the A, the C, the OID, breaking all that stuff down. Acceptance letter, the 3-603, all that. Man, I don't do that shit no more. Fuck that. That's too much work. I got a simple process to get it done. And then the audit process, right? You got the audit process, right? Using the Treasury. Not the IRS, using the Treasury. The Treasury then gives the Internal Revenue Service the orders and the instructions. The Internal Revenue Service is the accounting branch. Right now, the Internal Revenue Service is back within on the land now. It's back on the land, based on the fact that, I don't know if you know that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is also the Internal Revenue Service Commissioner. He occupies both positions. He controls the Internal Revenue Service and the he don't control the Treasury, but he is the Secretary of the Treasury and the Internal Revenue Service. And they was about to put him in to have him in control, and I think he was silently in control of the Federal Reserve Board, because they was talking about that. But you can audit, right? So for instance, just for shits and giggles, right? Entertainment, informational purposes. I don't know if it'd be true or not, right? You got Treasury Form 3949A. You also got a Form 4490, right? You also got the affidavit identity theft, right? You got the Treasury Form 211, right? You also got your transmittal, your 4506T, and then you have all the different CFRs and USCs in regards to the tax regulations, because all of these people are creating these pooling accounts and creating these QSIPs and all these different securities based on a repurchase agreement, right? Because what the guy had said in there when he was talking about, well, they want me to repay them on this, that, and the other. Well, what you don't understand is that if you're talking about some other type of debt outside of a mortgage, is considered to be what they call a consolidated debt obligation. It's a CDO. And then you have something that is called a repurchase agreement. Well, basically what you're doing is, based on them doing that security with you, or that pooling and service agreement, or that indentured contract, which is a security deed or mortgage or deed of trust, you're actually agreeing to transfer all rights and title over to them to hold as the servicer or trustee, and you agree to pay them over 30 years or 5 years or whatever it might be, what the situation is, or that revolving credit, which is a credit card, on that money. But at the end of the day, you don't read the fine print. The fine print says that you are a third-party beneficiary. Yeah, beneficial interest in those contracts, and that it's been paid. You have one half to been paid, right? Then you have the other half that they created. So like on the mortgage side, it's like this. Everybody, when they buy a house, they close escrow. When you buy the car, you close escrow. What they did in the repurchase agreement is they created what is called the real estate mortgage investment conduit, which is the REMIC, and they create the real estate investment trust based on that and put it in that pooling account. Is equal to just a general deposit without specific instructions, what nonetheless is talking about. You got to give instructions. If you don't, they can do what they want with it. Therefore, the trust has become a resulting or implied trust versus an express trust. So, under those circumstances, you say, well, if I didn't do all that, I still have some beneficial interest. But what happens in that repurchase agreement, right? You have the grant deed that comes from the previous owner to you. Closed escrow. They got paid. Then you have this other side over here, which is your deed of trust, your security deed or mortgage or whatever, pooling and service agreement, whatever you want to call it, or this all right, what am I
I'm letting
missing?
you ride because your information is of facts, but
Okay,
let's
okay,
stick to
so
this case.
what do I miss here? Okay,
Hey,
let me say this last thing. Let me say this last thing about escrow. When the deed of trust is opened, right? They open up 2 more escrows on you. That's when that remic and that rig comes in, and then you have this whole other situation, right? Shits and giggles. This is just me. I mean, how I look at shit is kind of a little sideways, but it is what it is. They open up a creditor debtor escrow. Then they open up an investment escrow. Now you can actually see that in the billing statement. It says that there's an escrow open, but you actually supposed to have closed escrow. That's where we close an escrow. So go ahead. I can stop right there.
but look, first of all, when you miss something, because when you're dealing with a negotiable instrument, you got to do a UCC3 on. You got to claim it. That's what people don't realize, that when you send those checks out there, your own private banking, you got to claim it on a UCC3, and then you got to refer it to the bond that's on the UCC1. That's what the UCC is for. It's for banking. That's why when people be talking about it, I'll be like, all right, well, you must not be doing no banking, so I ain't worrying about you saying you don't use the UCC. You know what I mean? Because you don't use it unless you're doing private banking. You know what I mean? So that's one issue right there when you're doing a negotiable instrument. If you ain't got a UCC set up, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? You
But
know what
but
I'm saying?
but yeah, right. Go in.
Yeah,
That's the whole point. You got to remember the judge asked him, "Oh, so you got a trust, huh?
right,
Well, where's the evidence of this trust?"
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
So as a United States citizen, you're just babbling because your trust is gonna be on a QSIP,
Right.
and
right, right.
this QSIP has hundreds of thousands of trusts under one QSIP number. So you
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to identify your trust under all those thousands of. You're just gonna be able to get the QSIP number to your trust. You might be able to find your trust in that QSIP, but you ain't gonna be able to use it because it's under the QSIP. It's not under you.
Hmm.
It's under the structure of the QSIP, where all of these are under minor accounts, and they're being orchestrated and authorized by way of the United States as fiduciary agent. So when a United States citizen go up in them courtroom talking about some goddamn trust, bro, you don't have no rights for none of that shit. You can't tap into that. You're moving in fraud. Yes, you'll be able to go and ask the Treasury Department for a coupon. You'll be able to go and ask the Treasury for this and this and that, and they'll give it. They'll issue it to you. But as soon as you use that shit and you're not in your proper content as your major account is the representative, you're fucked. That's fraud. That's what that sovereign citizen shit, identity, all that bullshit that people now see coming in.
Right.
Oh, you getting this and you doing it because they're using it in a fraudulent way, bro. They're not controlling their own trust.
Right. Right.
And that's why that judge looking at that dude like, well, yeah, you got to trust? Well, let me see it. If in the United States under that QSIP, you ain't finna put your hands, you can't, you gonna be writing some shit down or go on the internet and print it off,
Right.
Right. But basically,
and it's not gonna hold any fact in court. It's just gonna be hearsay.
That's right.
well, basically, in layman's terms, a QSIP is how you trace how the government tracks bonds. So when they say it's unaccusive, that means it's drawing off a public bond, and those bonds in public debt is always being sold around.
They
That's how they
represented it. They
yeah
represented it.
yeah, because if you ever look at them, that's why I said this is big boy territory because the debt is being sold to other countries. Now that CUSIP is being China done bought into some of the debt.
Let me,
I got
let me,
on
let
X,
me,
they always selling debt, bro. I'm
let,
subscribed to the Treasury
let me-
direct.
yeah,
Go ahead.
they selling debt right now. But check this out.
Yeah,
Check
go ahead,
this
go ahead.
out. All right, so Trump just did the what was it? DFC is it called? Um,
Yeah,
the,
is the DFC? Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
okay, all right, okay. Nonetheless, you remember that shit we was talking about how Ukraine under British and the Lord of London and all of that, right? A while back.
Yeah.
All right. So Trump developed a DFC for his fuck the Lloyd's insurance company. He was waiting on them motherfuckers to sit over there and take their
Uh-huh.
insurance off of that shit. So
Hell
now
yeah.
the United States is insuring all motherfucking trade. So listen, by this new $80 billion stock that they have, right? The new $80 billion stock is what Trump just told y'all the other day before he even went to war when he said we finna incorporate and identify all the new birth certificates from 2013 up to 2032 as a
Yo, y'all hear me?
yeah
Okay.
as a insurance policy for they was insuring all the certificates from 2013. You remember he just said that? Look that up,
No,
Ocha.
but look, he no. In further evidence of that is that now all children that's born, I think he said since 2013, gets a $1,000 bond, or automatically they get an educational that they gonna put into your own account.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying, Marty?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he giving everybody, bro. They telling you the game like right there. Like what are people talking about? We bullshitting with the information we give. He always tells you. You know
He
what I'm
always
saying? He always tells you.
remember he first come inside the goddamn White House. He said, "I want everybody in America to pull up their goddamn bootstraps and become entrepreneurs." You remember he said that?
Yeah, bro. I
Then
know
he
he.
opened up the door for the PPP and the SBA loans and all of that for you having a business and wah, wah, wah.
Right.
All right, so check this out. This new DFC is open market for sovereign individuals. It's not a Lloyd in London anymore as a monopoly on insurance. It's where we, the people, now are invested in all the goddamn trade that's going around. It's to make America great again, my boy. That white boy so goddamn smart. He been set this shit up.
That something's coming.
He been set this up, bro.
He said,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So
So
now,
So
yeah. Go
China
ahead.
is gonna control from the Hormuz area all the way on the western or eastern or whatever they want to say, from the Hormuz, from Iran all the way back, that trade route. And the whole war between Israel and Palestine is they want to open up a trade canal right there in front of Palestine and run it through Palestine. So that's been in the plan. So that's what that whole war about. So America is gonna run with Israel is gonna run from Israel back to America as a trade route. They're gonna separate the trade routes. China gonna run in, America gonna run the next. And Russia is just gonna be a producer, like oil and they're gonna be part of the
Yeah,
monopoly.
rare earth and all that bullshit.
Right. They're
Yeah.
gonna be part of the monopoly, but they're gonna be more of the producing part instead of the commerce part. China and America gonna control that.
Right. Yeah, that's why now, bro. If you don't know this shit now, nigga, like, yo, I'm not really interested in doing no bills on negotiable instruments because first of all, you gotta already know this shit. Secondly, as Naughty know, nigga, we not doing. We ain't trying to do no fucking no bills and all, nigga. If you ain't talking about $1 million, $5 million, right? I mean, doing that shit, doing those type of negotiable instruments. I'm not really interested in talking about this shit, bro.
Every
Not for
three
no,
years, yeah, five
yeah, bro.
million every
Not no
3 years.
goddamn bills. Not no goddamn write no car off. No, none of that little
Hell
bullshit.
nah, that's
Nigga, we talking
bullshit.
about, nigga, if you ain't talking about over $1 million, nigga, don't even talk. I'm not talking about this shit, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
talking about this shit. Yeah, it ain't. It don't. It's a waste of time, bro.
to
Doing
get a
bills and
car.
all that shit now,
Yeah,
bro.
that's not the business.
Yeah, bro. We talking about when we talking about this, we talking about business. Like when you already got your business credit set up and you trying to discharge your business debt for $1 million and up, nigga. Ain't no conversation about no negotiable instruments online, bro. Real talk. And it's easy to get, and that ain't even no whole lot of money.
Okay.
You feel me?
Hmm. Okay. Now I want to show y'all this. Now this says duties and responsibility of the county treasurer for the county treasury. Now I'm asking this. I'm gonna see if this applies across the board. The county treasurer shall be the custodian of all county trust funds. The county treasury shall be the depository for the 10% tithes and all donations received from the stewards for the county. Now, I'm quizzing y'all right now. I'm gonna see what y'all can make of this right here. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think, how I see it. Tell me what you just saw right there.
I ain't even hear you. I wasn't even paying attention, bro. What you was talking about?
Okay, so you see the screen?
Yeah, I'm driving, but yeah, what it say?
Okay. So this is something I just pulled up. I went through some things, pull it up. This is duties and responsibility of the county treasurer for the county treasury. The county treasurer shall be the custodian of all county trust funds. The county treasury shall be the depository for the 10% tithes and all donations received from the stewards for the county. No? Nothing? Nothing?
Nah, I'm just saying that you know what, bro? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, you ain't paying attention.
No, bro, I'm looking at this fucking dumbass in front of me. But yeah, I heard the stewards. So it's saying I heard the ending saying that they are stewards of the which okay, so that means they're trustees, right? So it's a trust somewhere, it's a public trust somewhere in operation.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me read it again.
All right, go ahead.
The county treasurer shall be the custodian of all county trust funds. The county treasury shall be the depository for the 10% tithes, like tithes in church, TITHES, and all donations received from the stewards for the county. I'm checking y'all reading comprehension here. What did did that say right there?
Oh, okay. It's just all is what is trying to what is doing what is attempting to do is get people to voluntarily, as a gift, because you talking about this, I think it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What they're trying to do is get people to gift them um, uh, some type of financial settlement, so that they pretty much the representatives of the state will basically leave you alone. Pretty much, it's almost like it's a shakedown. What I'm getting is all the people that got private trust, right? They're asking for donations, so you can write it off as as a tax write off. So pretty much those are your nonprofits, your charitable organizations that you have associated with your private trust. That's why people get private trust. I mean private charitable don't 501c3s. So
Got it.
if you got a 501c3, that's what they talk. They want you to get that. It's like a
Got
pass
it.
through. Go ahead.
Got it. What you think?
I got you in money and this man over here and another.
Nah,
Right
man.
at,
You got Taz over there?
man, he all in my
No,
Well,
we
he
were
on the
talking about
goddamn.
we were talking about business, and when you was talking about the 5 million and stuff, and
hey, hold on, hold
so hold
on.
up.
So what you was talking right now, Aton?
Taz, you are on the panel.
Yeah, go.
Bless, go ahead. I'm just no. He said
He said you on the pedal with that. So go in your own separate part and do what you need to do, wherever
Man,
you need to go.
you wanna get on Nutty's head,
Nah, he
you
wanna
gonna
be
be
right here
live
fucking
in
with me.
color.
You wanna be right there fucking with me. Yeah, pull in the door. So check it. What you were saying, guy.
Yeah.
No, just give it to me quick.
The treasurer, the county treasurer, shall be the custodian of all county trust funds.
Mm-hmm.
County treasury shall be the depository for the 10% tithes, like in church,
Mm-hmm.
all donations received from the stewards for the county.
Okay.
What you got?
I mean that's plain layman term.
I'm just checking to see what
Okay. All
I'm
right.
checking your
Okay.
reading
Okay. Okay.
comprehension. What you
Okay.
got
Yeah,
it for?
that's the
Okay. So
treasurer.
when right, the treasurer of that county deals with the probate court. The probate creates the document of the birth certificate, and the treasurer approves it by bonding it. Those are going to be the steward. It's going to be 10% given to the United States on that taxable instrument, as in tax, that the every individual in that county is considered a steward by way of that identification through birth.
Okay.
Right. So they call it so they're calling you the trustee as the person that's controlling the citizenry. You see how they put the hot potato in your hands to make you
Mhm.
responsible first, but when you go into court, well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They all hold you
Yeah, it's
responsible.
because probate is who rolling
Yeah.
that goddamn title.
Yeah. They still hold you as a trustee. That's why, it's man. That's why I say it's under the United States to construct a trust. They the trustee when it benefit them, but you the
But but
trustee when you owe
but
money though.
but
The
see,
fuck.
what we fuck up at, and this is what me and Taz was talking about just now. Each individual needs to create their own foreign trust, not a domestic trust, because now you're under the regulations and authorities of the United States. You want to create your own where you control it. You control it. Then we all come together under a what was is called a unification, not corporation, not cooperation, but as unification under each other's trust. Do you understand? Now each and every one identifying and recognizing each other by way through business. Do you understand?
Hell yeah.
This is how we defeat their or not defeat, compete with their narrative of operation.
Right.
Unification. We
All right.
unify.
All right. So what I see is this,
We
right?
start creating our own titles. Start going on the UCC one and filing it. That way the United States holds your back on that title. Now
Now
then
here's
you go and do a UCC 3 as an instruction for that title. Do a UCC 9 as in order of operation for that title.
here's what I see. Now, this is where great heads think alike, and this is why there's no I in team. Because what I'm looking at is right here in that first
One
sentence.
more, Aton, one more.
Hold
Go
up.
ahead.
Let me before I go. And the only one that's dealing in any UCC production is the C Corp banking of your estate. That's the only one ever dealing under UCC operation. Because once you develop your banking of your estate through a C Corp as the operator or the director of the bank, this now regulates you to be a SEC member where you can create your own bonds and turn them into the Treasury Department and they validate it for the fiat currency or credit towards the account. This is where your black cards come in because you have your major account tied with your minor account and you're acting your C corp of your bank is acting as fiduciary for the estate. Is no longer under the United States hand. Do you're just connecting that account, your major account, your major bank, with what they're holding for in trust.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what
That's deep as
I'm
hell.
looking at, I'm looking at it from another angle. Right. So if it states right here under the duties and responsibilities of the county treasurer, it says the county treasurer shall be the custodian of all county trust funds. Now, necessarily, we don't know what is the trust funds, what is the county trust, how it was established. We don't know that. We're just dealing with the duties and responsibility of the treasurer.
That's why I started.
You know what a trust fund's at?
Well, hold on real quick. Here's what I'm focused on.
Mm.
3A, right? The county treasury shall be the depository for the 10% tithes. So that means it's a depository. That means it's some type of financial institution or some type of bank
It's the
of some
Treasury
sort.
Department just on a state level, bro. Like the DMV.
Okay.
It's still tied to the United States. It's just there orchestrating the rulage or the financial reservatory for the state, for United States, from the state.
Now, in this next part, where it says 10% tithes, right? That's kind of biblical. It's got some religious Christianity in there somewhere, right? And all donations received from the stewards for the county. Now, if we're talking about the steward is always connected to the land. You being a steward of the land. That's why you have title and fee simple, and you have colorable title to the land. You don't actually own the land. You actually have absolute title to the land because you're there, right? And you are the one that is making it habitable, keeping it up, maintaining it, so on and so forth, making the necessary payments. But what this is actually saying that all those payments that is to be paid are donations. Now that takes me to the donor definition in Black's Law Dictionary, right? When we was talking about donor yesterday, what a donor is. A donor, by definition, creates a trust, is enacted with the power of appointment. And the donee is the one that is considered to be the trustee or in any type of special deposit, because it's a depository by any type of deposit. It is the borrower or the bailee and the trustee and the agent, so on and so forth. So where is this? Where has it been in that right there? Well, we ain't even got to the rest of it, but with that right there, how did the shit get flipped around, Nutty?
You
Well,
did not create that trust.
it doesn't matter if I
Oh
create it
my
or not.
God. How
But
you
I
gonna be a
did create
donor?
the trust.
How you
If
gonna be a donor?
I am considered to be the donor, by definition, I created the trust as a donor. I
No, no,
created
no,
the
no, no,
trust.
no, no. You're considering yourself as a donor.
No,
You're doing that on your
no,
own.
no. It's
The
saying right
create
here
the
that
creator of the
that
trust. Who
they're
created the
calling that
trust?
they're calling these payments that are being made, or these ties, but more importantly, they're calling it ties. They're calling these
Ties.
donations, man. They're calling it donations.
The only way is a donation, bro. If you create your trust and you donate in a charity or charitable um 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 notion, you're not donating in a charitable notion, bro. You're tithing.
Mm.
You're not create. You didn't create the God. Is the creator of the trust and the donee of the trust, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
the tither or the donator. You see how that go?
I mean, but no, can't be, because you can write those off on your taxes. If you're paying money to your church you go to and you're paying tithes at 10%, you know what I'm saying, over a period of time of what you make per month over time, you can write that off as a donation. It could be written off as a donation. It can. So how
Well,
it could be
bro,
the other way, what you say?
if you're a member of a church,
Uh-huh.
tithes are not donations. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Why are they calling them donations?
They're not calling this. It's for the other side. It's for the one who owns his own trust. The actual creator of the trust. He donates.
Okay, that's where the and comes in, right?
Yeah, donate. He donates. That's the donate. That's what a donate is representing. The creator of the trust. The user of the trust is paying tithes. You're a member. You're using this membership. You're tithing.
Okay. All right. But okay, so these people that are to be paying tithes, hold on. Darvis came up here and then he ain't there no more. You know, I don't understand this shit, y'all. What happened?
He'll come back.
Okay, so he probably just fell back off then.
Yeah, he'll come
All
back.
right, y'all gotta help me with this shit, because Milestone was back there. I didn't know he was back there. I missed him. All
Yeah,
right.
you gotta be watching
Yeah.
that back page.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna start sharing them one at a time so I can see the screen. All right, so okay. I can roll with that. I can roll with that. Okay, so there you go. There you go. What up, Doris? All right, let me read this.
Mike check, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna read this
Mic
three.
check. Mic check.
You hear
Peace to
everybody?
the gods, man.
Mic
Peace to the
check.
gods,
Mic
boy.
check.
After you got the
Yeah,
minds
yeah,
together,
yeah.
though. They got the big minds together
Mic
today.
check. Mic check.
Oh
Yeah.
What's
oh
up,
yeah,
Jarvis?
I hear
oh
you,
yeah,
Nutty.
Peace to the gods, yo. What's up?
All
What's
right,
up, Doc?
Peace,
family,
none.
peace.
oh
Family,
yeah.
peace.
This is the council, man. It's the council, Doris.
My dog, my dog. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. All right,
I'm
let me
supposed to
see.
be goddamn working. I had to cut everything short so I can catch up with y'all talking about.
Darby, where your
Peace,
mic?
God.
Yes, sir. Man, I'm glad you came up here though. because we need that pushback.
Where your mic at, Darvis?
Mic check. You hear me now?
Oh,
Mic check. Mic check.
you
They
don't
lock.
you don't hear him, Nutty?
Nah, I don't hear. Let me drop out and come back in.
Okay, nonetheless, hold on, don't drop off yet. Nonetheless,
I hear everybody. Yeah, I'm good.
do you hear?
Yeah, I hear everybody.
You hear
Yeah, I hear
nonetheless,
everybody.
Nutty?
Yeah, I hear all of you, but I don't hear Darvis.
Darvis.
Mic check. I hear you, man. I hear everybody.
Let me drop off and come back on.
Yeah, you got to reset.
That's naughty.
All right, hold on.
Hey, peaceful man, Taz. I ain't introduced myself to him yet, man. Peace to you too, okay?
Brother. Bless, brother. I'll just be sitting here listening. All right, bless.
Shit, me too, man.
All right. Naughty.
Yo.
Mic check.
Yo.
Mic check. Everybody come off the mic.
Yep, I hear you. Yep, I hear you.
All right, everybody come off the mic. Nonetheless, come off the mic.
No, I'm off the mic.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, cool. All right, so 3B, the county treasurer shall maintain records of all tithes, receiver of assessments, report indebtedness, invest and disperse county funds upon agreement by the stewards in assembly. Now, who are these stewards in the assembly, right? My thing of a steward is somebody that is actually owning land or is actually have title, some type of colorable title to the land. Is that where we're at?
You can say that too, but I'm looking at it differently, man. I look at it. See, that's more like a Christian thing or biblical. All right, and so they saying now that the county treasurer, whoever the county treasurer, they based on their responsibility now. Anybody that make a tithe, like you make like say you get a speeding ticket. I might not be right, but follow me. Say you get a speeding ticket, you got to pay $100, whatever. It's up the responsibility of the treasurer to take that 10% of that $100 and set it aside to something else, and they got to document it. Now, when you're dealing with donations,
not only that, your taxes also, what you working in the state, all income that's coming from you. Go ahead.
All right, cool. All right, so far the taxes go, you may be right on that. But see, I don't think the county treasurer deal with the county treasurer don't deal with taxes. They deal with fines and money's going through it and not the treasury department that's held by the county. And they only got that particular standing. They only deal with that. And they taking their percentage off of that for the church or for whoever. But like when you're in church, though, you know, when they pass the little pot around, I mean, that's not tithing. Yeah. That's donations. Tithing is what you pay at the end of the year. That's 10% of your income.
Okay, there we go. That was my understanding. That was my understanding. So now we got tithing. Okay, good. That gives clarity right there, right? What Darvis just said.
In a way, right? But see, the treasury of every county reports to the revenue department of all states.
Exactly.
So the revenue department pays a tax to the United States every year.
That was a bar, though. I mean, goddamn, Darvis, that was a bomb right there. I like that shit because a lot of people don't understand that in particular. That was good. Go ahead, Nard. That was good.
Well, in harmony, what I would say that they have to deal with taxes because if you go in there, if you must go in there, you can always ask the judge if he's under investigation of the IRS. It's like a 1099-R. And so I know this for experience because I made it known and they immediately canceled everything it was one of my last resort at this point. But I knew that when I did that in courtroom, that happened. So I knew they were dealing with it with taxes. That was just, I'm listening to what y'all was saying there, and I was like,
okay, so Taz, what you saying? Okay, so Taz, what you're saying is that everything is a tax. Is that what you're saying?
In commercial, yes, we're dealing with commercial.
Okay.
You're getting taxed. But
Yeah, but I didn't think the county really had authority or standing over taxing, just fines.
look, I used to be a county fireman.
Okay.
Okay. So county and city, they're right there. They have their own stuff. But I'm telling you, when all hell broke loose as a fireman, I hurried up and got out of there because I was doing this, and I did not expect to be exposed like that. And I was like, oh hell no. So county and city and all that stuff, yes, it is totally different. But yes, they're taxing. They are taxing. They got to deal. They have to give something to the revenue. Believe that. Every time you go to the courtroom, every time they give you a number, that number, case number or whatever, all that is being taxed. It's already done. It's done with. Now they're trying to collect. So man. Go ahead.
Now that's the basic. That should be the basic fundamentals, right? Because a lot of people, right, Darvis, they don't.
Aton, Nadi said put him back on.
He on.
No, he's not. He's just telling me.
Oh shit, he dropped back off.
Yeah,
All right, Make sure y'all stay. Yeah, make sure y'all stay on me because I don't be paying attention to that shit. Yeah, make sure. Okay, so Darvis task. So if the fundamentals is everything is a tax, right? And if you actually read the Internal Revenue laws, I mean, not the Internal Revenue codes and statutes and procedures, how it goes, they say pretty much everything is considered to be a tax, and any payments are considered to be donations or gifts. They don't call it donations; they call it a gift, and you can claim recoupment for that gift or for what they call it prepaying taxes.
Right?
Yeah. Bless. Yeah. I understand what they wrote down there, but I followed that game one time. I did that. And because we were talking about that, I think Aton was saying something about a voucher earlier, remember? And so this is me just getting going, and I was like, okay, so I'm just letting you know this is what happened to me now. So I looked up on the internet the IRS with the going on with the court cases, that all of it has to be reported. So I looked up the IRS that for a voucher because they were trying to make me pay stuff. But that's the word, is that we're not supposed to be saying pay. You know what I'm saying? And so when you say pay, it's like a contract. So now I went to go look for the voucher. And when I went inside and I said, well, look, you're making me pay what now? Pay what? Like that. I said, okay, well, I got this voucher from the IRS. I'm going to go ahead and do this, do that. And I want to make sure that I follow taxes on this and all this. Man, they hurry up and got me out of there so quick. So they're dealing with taxes. They got to pay something, or give something. We're not supposed to be saying
either that or they don't want to fuck around and
right.
break their laws, or not really laws,
regulations.
Delegate of authority order. They only
codes and regulations. They
things.
went against it.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I used to say the same thing back in the day. They used to be like, don't use the word payment because there is no money, da 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 da. But anytime you receive a presentment from the Treasury through the Internal Revenue Service, they give you a payment voucher, and it says on that little cutoff says use for payments. Says use that instrument use this for payments. Only thing they take out is this, but it says use for payments, and it has a routing number. It has your last name and about four letters. Then it has like a VB. And then it has your social without the dashes, and it has these routing numbers at the bottom. That's a check. So when you take that payment voucher or payment coupon, and then you attach another money order, check, or anything like that, guess what? That check that you gave him is free money.
Yeah, because that voucher is supposed to be to offset it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Don't need to add nothing else to it. Anything else added to it, it's a donation.
That's right.
But it's still got to document it though.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Yeah, that's good. What I was saying though is what I heard you saying earlier. If you was in court, we don't say payment. Now, like I said, I didn't say none of that in the courtroom. I just hurry up and went on the internet and got my voucher. So in essence, I understand what you're saying. Like, hey, go ahead and do this, do that. Yeah, but again, this is their stuff. I only used it twice. And when I used it twice, I didn't say payment in the courtroom. I didn't say none of that stuff. Then I went and downloaded it, got it, and I used it. And that was their payment, what they were saying, payment. But this is what I'm gonna set off. Hey, look, I got this from here. You're all your entity. Boom, this is what you want. Here it is, right there. Dealing with them because this court should have already filed all this, and I don't see it. And that's what happened is they hurry up and got me out of there.
When a voucher come in and you in proper setting of your corporation and thing, you're supposed to put your identification SIN number, your identification number, which is gonna be on your created number for your documents and all your office number, your office identification numbers. You want to put in pay to the order of set off or something of this and use these numbers to identify with the company. Only if you're being sent a voucher and you're in proper standing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, we keep missing the key points and thinking that this language right here is for layman understanding, but it's not.
And that's
What
how they
is
get there.
right? The treasury it is building off of a ecclesiastical format.
Mhm.
That's just how the law is structured, right?
Right. So
So
this so I can get this off the screen. So what Heartfelt Centers 2 is saying is that he's asking a question based on what you were saying earlier, Nadi. So are you saying membership gets rid of your capacity to be a donor? Remember you was talking about membership?
yeah.
Does that get rid of your capacity to be a donor? Because you were talking about the church and all that, you know what I'm saying?
So what capacity? How are you donating? Are you donating? So all right. So you open up a company, bro, and you got members come in the company, and your members write you out a check for with their name on it, John and Jane Doe.
Mhm.
But you got John and Jane Doe on as a membership. John and Jane Doe, far as the government is concerned, is gonna view that as a payment towards the membership of the company or the um, FOP club or the bikers club or the you understand? Now, as a donor, if you go and say Jane Doe and John Doe Inc. in your business statements or your business account, and now write that check to that program that you're a member that your personal individuals a membership from. Now that is seen as a donation because that is set up on its own. You're
Right.
set up under the membership. You can't donate when you're involved in the that's like what you call um 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 what's that word when you fucking with the money, bro? Um,
What? Check kiting?
huh?
But laundering.
Laundry?
Laundering.
Yeah.
You'll get fucked up and get everybody in that motherfucker fucked up on a Rico. How much you wanna? If it's a large format where the government is saying, well, goddamn, I see what's going on over here. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. All right,
for them to
so
come in and get you.
But
Yeah, not
yeah,
nothing
but real
petty,
quick,
not no $30, $40 and $200 here and there. 12, even up to 12,000. They might not fuck with you, but shit, you go to saying you donating 30, 40, $50,000, and they finna see what the fuck going on.
all
right?
right.
But real quick, where can you go? Where can you go to get payment that's considered not non-debt occurring, or that's equal to gold and silver? Like when you use it, that thing is equal to gold and silver, right?
Nothing, nowhere.
No, but I'm saying the closest thing, but I'm saying the one that they recognize as that is the post office money orders, right?
Right.
So if you get so that's telling you something right there. When you go to post office and get a money order, now is that called payment? No, that's a money you're ordering. So now that should tell you that when you getting a check from them, you got to convert it into a money order, an order for lawful money. So now when you put that language on your instruments, now you're not creating debt, you're actually paying off the debt. So now, see, the one thing that guy said that was important in that video is that he said he had credits from the Treasury Department. You feel me? That's what you want. You want credits.
What's printed on every United States postal money order?
Cash in check.
Print paid in to the order of.
Yep,
Yeah.
paid to the order of United States Treasury.
You see?
People don't
That's a,
people don't
well,
read, bro. It be right in front of our face, yo.
yep.
People don't read their own. I guarantee you, people don't even read the dollars. It gives you so much information on a $1 bill. It's ridiculous.
Right. All right. So, what is the proper setting? Nonetheless, and then now you can answer that question. This is
The
another question that's posed.
proper setting for
What would
what?
you consider to be a proper setting? Well, Nadia had mentioned a proper setting. You got to be in your proper setting in regards to, tendering or anything, doing any type of banker's acceptances or anything like that. What would be the proper setting? I don't know. It just says what is proper setting. I would guess that what he's saying is that like status or position in regards to doing these type of transactions or any type of equitable relief. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So check it. You fucking around at the borrower's window at the Treasury Department, right? Asking for a coupon, but you're not a financial institute in no shape or form. You're a citizen. You're not in structure or standing to operate in this function. They're not going to recognize it. You're moving in fraud. You already have a fiduciary as a citizen. It's the United States Uncle Sam Treasury Department. But if everything is considered to be a tax, right? I'm gonna roll with Taz on this. If everything is considered to be some form of a tax, that the county, right? We're dealing with the county right now, and then that county is, to me, franchisee of the United States government. So they're a sub corporation of that at worst. So if everything is considered to be a tax, because we pretty much know the United States federal government pretty much fully funds all these states and the counties and cities within, because you'll see the flag planted somewhere around their public facilities. So if everything is considered to be a tax, and that name is considered to be a taxpayer, wouldn't that name already be enfranchised along with it? So why would you need to create something else when it's already been enfranchised through the instruments? You see what I'm saying? So how you think you're gonna control anything if you don't create it? So right now,
It's in a creation and it's being operated without a standing of testimony. Do you understand what that is?
Somewhat. Go ahead.
Okay, so without it being a standing of testimony saying I represent this, it's on the shelf as lost at sea. So they got to maintain that merchandise, that shelf, that how you part of the ship, the maintenance and the curing of that product, which is identified as a citizen because you never stood on a claim of life.
I get that. Okay.
You talk about the admiralty thing, right?
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
how it's still admiralty comes from the ecclesiastical
Yeah,
law.
yeah. What
Right.
I'm
And it's
saying is
all
right.
in
This is what I'm saying.
representation.
This is what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying. Everything we see going on here is according to this letter right here. This is the church collecting this money from his wards.
Yep.
That trust is based on one thing, same thing the church is based on a Christian name,
Yep.
and it's basically the same thing. You can own a Christian name too, but certain steps you got to take. I mean, you got to claim it, bond it, and all that. You understand how that go? But basically, that's all it is.
All
The
right.
church
So
collecting this money.
okay, so if that's the case, let's say you didn't do that, right, Darvis? Let's say you didn't do that. Naughty, nonetheless. That. Let's say you didn't do any of that.
Yeah,
Are you guys saying that you have no power whatsoever? You haven't done it.
you can get no remedy.
Everybody agree with that?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I'm not saying that's factual,
It's,
but I can't see how you
it's
can.
already written
We
down
got
what you allowed.
yeah. You can't even have no ground for redress.
Now remember, we're talking about taxes, right?
Yeah.
So
When
Yes.
we talk about taxes, like you said, we talk about ad, we talk about the church. We talk
all
about
right,
the
so
Inquisition. We talk about IRS.
okay,
All
so
that side of it.
under the circumstances, when I make my donations, right, to the church or whatever it might be, or tied at the end, that 10%, wouldn't I get a receipt?
Right. That's why I was
Yeah, but
saying
you have to file
before.
for it though. But they don't just get it, just give it to you. You
Right.
go ask for it. I mean,
I mean, but
you got
it's
to do
coming out my
paperwork too.
account though, so I got a receipt regardless if I got a receipt or not.
Yeah, if we pay it out of account, yeah, you would have the receipt from that money leaving the account, but they ain't obligated to do none of that shit.
So
Where
Well,
do
can
where
I
do you go?
can
Where,
I
but at
where
the end of the day, you guys are saying that there's, I mean,
oh,
at the least being a
oh,
United States citizen, at the
oh,
least being a United States citizen, I can at least report the payments and ask for recoupment or return on those payments, man, that I made. You telling me I can't get that
Yeah,
either?
yeah,
listen,
because you can
listen.
celebrate your tithing. I mean, you're supposed to also, eat with the church, or whatever. So you can get some of that, but most of it's going back to the county. That's over everything.
Right. Like, okay, real quick, Donnie, let me read 3C and then y'all can go. It says the county treasury shall pay all public lighting and heating utilities based upon a percentage of a projected 1.5 units for the minimum wage earner, prioritize and encourage the development of alternate self-reliant energy sources for the county and the stewards. It said shall, not may, shall pay all public lighting and heating utilities. So is now what you're saying is who is saying that they shall pay this thing? The county
Boy, you
treasury
be
shall
trying,
pay.
boy. You be shooting for them stars, boy, and
Hey
you just
man,
can't
look,
grab them, though. I'm telling you.
I'm not gonna sit here and go outside of that. I'm reading what I'm reading. So the
All
county
right,
treasurer
so
shall
anytime.
pay all public lighting and heating utilities. What's up?
Hey,
Anytime, anytime.
For the
Listen,
stewards.
hey,
listen.
may means shall too in law. Don't let that trick you. May means the same thing as shall in law.
Yeah, it
Go ahead,
Okay,
does.
bro.
so
But
may means the same thing as shall.
Yup,
So all right,
yup.
so if it's
Yeah, you
shall,
gotta
then
look
it
at the
shall be
words, bro.
done.
Look at the words.
Thou art and shall be done. Yeah, then we in the Bible right now. Shall
li-
be done. Let's go.
Aton, look at the words, bro. Look at the words and read
The
it
words tell
slowly.
you.
I see the words.
So the
Look it up.
words, so it's nothing. It's all in public. Understand? Public. When you go and
Uh-huh.
get your apartment, you're not getting that apartment under the public trust. You're getting that apartment under your trust, individual. Now you're doing tithes again. You're moving as a ward to the church. They're gonna pay for public shit like the park, the church that donates. That's part of the registry in the public that is open to the public. The church, the fire station, the businesses that's like
Releases.
polices, co-ops, shit of these natures, bro. Public venues.
You're in public. You got to understand between public and private.
Not saying they're gonna pay. They
No,
gotta pay for your gas in your house. Come on, bro. No, you're not
right.
even registered as the public.
That's
You're
public.
registered as a
Yeah,
private.
but the county also buy gas and buys electricity and it buys water.
Yeah, they do that too. You gotta pay a tax on it.
Exactly.
Police has gas cards.
Yeah,
That light pole that come on your property, it's a tax for that. It's a tax to
exactly.
use that. That them
Where I'm
plumbing.
at, man. Where I'm at in the county in Berkeley County. There's something called Berkeley Electric, but they buy the electricity from Santee.
A private company, but they buy their elect. So now their policies and their rules don't apply. What you talking about the UCC and you reading from right here, you and that when you go do a contract with that Berkeley Electric, shit, you under their rules and their policy. They didn't sign a contract with the United States government to be under these rules and these policies. They just them and them, not you and them. You can't be represented using this shit when you got something else going on with a third party, bro. It don't apply to you because you're not in proper setting. You're a citizen. They already
Yeah,
got
but
the shit written out on what the fuck you are given.
Yeah, minimum
yeah,
contact type
because I
shit
think the
like
issue
that.
is I think the issue is because we thinking that the regular person, what it is that the county buys the electricity and they have extra places like schools and churches and whatnot. I mean, they use the electricity that the county buys from whoever they buy it from, and but now what they're doing, they selling back to the people the same electricity for profit, and
It's
the
not
county itself also
it's
get
not
a
really for
kickback.
profit. It's not really for profit. So the way the shit set up, the fiat currency is actually identified to the United States as coupons.
How much you use this year and how much you're going to project to use this year,
That's
next
what that
year.
is actually. So it's not
Well,
actually you're they're turning it in and getting credit behind it. They're getting accredited. They're not
mhm.
using it like money and like we think money is, bro. It's a different transaction once it goes to them financial institutions. It's not seen as money. It's seen as coupons, debt coupons. That's it. And then they're going to get their shit off a credit basis, off of accreditation towards their credit rating.
And I agree with you saying. So that's why I say what I say because so if like say I'm Berkeley County, he's using Berkeley for example. If I go buy some electricity, enough electricity to feed everybody within my county with electricity, and I pay that to that entity, they call
Hmm.
Santee Cooper, and then I get a check back from the government, a coupon from the government to offset that debt. Anything above that debt, so say the coupon worth $1,000, but I end up paying $700, that $300 is considered profit. Right or wrong? So it's for profit.
Hey, what does OID mean? Original issue discount, right?
Yeah.
299 OID.
OID, yeah.
Boy, you in my head right now. I'm about to pull up publication 1212 nonetheless.
Yeah,
You in my head.
pull that
Bro.
up. Pull that up,
We're
bro.
about to pull this up right now.
Because
Let me get it
clarify the
let me get it on the PDF.
Yeah, the coupon statement.
Yeah, you definitely right in my head on this one. I said, let's get
Because
to this.
The reason why, because people hear the coupon and this and that, and they think, you know what I mean, or what they talking about, ain't no dang coupon. Yo, it's right in dag on Google, yo. But see, they don't realize that original issue discount is dealing with what Nadia is talking about. But at the same time, is a principle behind the United States that is in harmony with the public. See, even if you can be in full private status, right? But you still have to have an obligation to the public because you still got to live in harmony with the public. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why my original statement, when you asked me what that meant, Aton, was that you need a charitable. Once you get to a certain area, you good. You do need a charitable, a charity, right?
A public will.
Right, to donate to the public because you need to take care of the public to a certain capacity. We have an obligation to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you live in, like, say you living on a farm, right? The principle behind that, you living on land, you still have to live in harmony with nature and creatures, right? Creatures on that land is other creatures that has rights to your world. You know what I mean? That lives on that. You have an obligation. You have to live in harmony with them. You know what I mean? You got to leave them a little bit of something to eat. You know what I mean? And stuff. That's where the charitable things comes in. That's why you see all these wealthy billionaires. They got charities. They have to give back.
Yeah, a certain amount of money.
Exactly. But that's not saying that you have to, but you do have to.
And I agree with you.
You know what
that's
I mean?
Why I refer.
That's how you keep your
that's
shit.
Why I refer to the Bible.
That's why you stay in harmony. Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna come take your shit if you don't.
Right. You have, but in a way they kind of right with the way they got it operating. You do have to give back, bro. You know what I mean?
And according to the Bible, right? They say when you plant something, say you plant apple trees.
Right.
The row apple trees about a road, you're not supposed to pick.
Yeah, you leave that for
10%, a 10% of whatever you grow
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you have to give back to the public.
Right.
Can't stop nobody from coming on the land and taking it.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
You gotta look out for the public.
Right. Exactly. That's pretty much what they say. That's why you need things structured correctly, and then you know what I mean.
But you gotta be in good and proper settings so you can actually operate as a donator.
Yeah. You want to donate. You know what I mean? You want to get in that status.
All right, so here you go. Original issue discount. Right, so right here, right here. We're just gonna start right here. Okay, now let's go to the introduction real quick. This publication has two purposes. Its primary purpose is to help brokers and other middlemen identify publicly offered original issue discount debt instruments that may hold as nominee for the true owners so they can file forms 1099 OID or forms 1099 INT as required. The other purpose of the publication is to help owners of publicly offered OID debt instruments determine how much OID to report on their income tax returns. Now, let's go down to this paragraph here. Brokers and other middlemen can rely on this list to determine for information reporting purposes whether a debt instrument was issued at a discount and the OID to be reported on information returns. Now, I understand what this means. I don't know how much you guys understand about this, but I understand what this means.
I understand that too. I got you.
Okay, so let's go over here. We're over here to the right. We're going to start right here. Original issue discount is a form of interest. It is the excess of a debt instrument stated redemption price at maturity over its issue price / acquisition price for a strip bond or coupon. Zero coupon bonds and debt instruments that pay no stated interest until maturity are examples of debt instruments that have OID. Now let's go down here to debt instrument. The term debt instrument means any instrument or contractual arrangement that constitute indebtedness under general principles of federal income tax law, including, for example, a bond, debenture, note, certificate, or other evidence of indebtedness. Is that what you wanted nonetheless?
Exactly. Yeah, bro.
There it is.
Yeah.
So it's telling you right now what a debt instrument is. Now, if you go to Title 18 USC subsection 8, these things that it's saying right here are what is considered to be obligations of the United States under that title. Section 8. Title 18, Section 8. Obligations of the United States. Do you want me to bring it up or we all know? All right. So if you guys want me to bring it up, we can, so we could be on the same page. Because of these things are what we're talking about, or if we're talking about debentures, note, certificate, or other evidence of indebtedness, I mean, are we falling in that same category? We should be falling in that same category.
Exactly.
Now, you see what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, so is anybody following 1099 OIDs? Nope.
No.
Yeah.
And you remember,
I filed that.
Okay, cool. So you remember, did I mention CDOs? Did I mention REMICs? Right? Real estate mortgage investing conduits, reporting information, and other collateralized debt obligations. Remember, I mentioned those CDOs. See, all that stuff plays into a role. Now, while we're looking at this, let me give y'all this because y'all know. So I can give y'all this. Right? 26 CFR 1.1275-3. And show you how fast I work. Right? Here you go. Information reporting requirements. Let's go down here. Right? Mention publicly offered. It says information required to be set forth on face of debt instruments that are not publicly offered. In general, except as provided of this paragraph. B applies to any debt instrument that is not publicly offered within the meaning of
You
one.
didn't switch the screen. You still on that old screen.
Yeah, but you throwing me off with that one too, man. I'm like, damn, what the fuck?
Yeah, my bad. Let me do the whole screen. Got you. You up here. What up with you?
Salute. Peace to the panel.
Salute.
Yeah, peace, bro.
Got some heavy hitters up here, man. God damn.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, this is the council. I got to be on my game right now.
Yeah. I see that.
All right. So right here. This is 26 CFR 1.1275-3. OID information reporting requirements. Now, the other form that actually is connected with these is Treasury Form 8281. Remember that, 8281. That's the informational return on OID, debt OID instruments.
8281, 45, 55, 54, 54, I believe. It's 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly. 8281, as for that QSIP. Now it says right here, I'm going to get down here, applies to any debt instrument that is not publicly offered is issued in physical form and has OID. The issuer of any such debt instrument must legend the instrument by stating on the face of the instrument that the debt instrument was issued with OID. Now, let me tell you something. When I put that in my statement of information,
Yeah.
well, I mean on the UCC 9-210, and I need that statement of account. I said statement of information, that statement of account, and I provide a section for tax purposes. They got to legend that, and it has to be on its face.
This is where that gap
If they did that after the fact, which they do, this is what they do. They stamp the back. Endorsing means sign on the back. This is why they take the instruments and move it on the back. Go ahead, Don.
No, I'm saying this is where the accounting, the gap principles come in at, the general accepted accounting principles.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right. Okay. So the instrument that the instrument was issued with OID. In addition, the issuer must either set forth on the face of the debt instrument the issue price, the amount of OID, the issue date, the yield to maturity. See this one right here, Nutty, and y'all. This is 8281. It's gonna have all that on 8281. The yield to maturity, and in the case of a debt instrument, subject to the rules of subsection 1.275-4B, the comparable yield and projected payment schedule, or provide the name or title and either the address or telephone number of a representative of the issuer who will, beginning no later than 10 days after the issue date, promptly make available to holders upon request the information. Now, the reason why 2 is important, this lowercase 2 is important, is because the underwriter is the investor, the one that makes the payment. The actual bank that you're dealing with, or any of those, let's just say it's just a regular people that says, oh, we got a loan for you, just running your major regular banks, they're actually servicing the loan. The underwriter behind them is the one that's actually the investor who they go to. You see what I'm saying? So that's the one that actually has it. The only thing that the bank is doing at that time is actually servicing the loan, of what really is supposed to be a consumer credit transaction. You see what I'm saying?
Does this all has to do with the 8281?
This the 8281 is a form and an example that they got to provide at that time.
And
that's everything is done. They got to provide this. This should be provided to you at closing in any deal. Especially when they ask you for your social security number, right? That social security number is connected to 2 places: the Treasury and the Social Security Administration. Then pretty much they're all one and the same.
Damn, that's crazy. Because I'm looking at the shit and it says if a company issues a bond below its face value, the difference counts as income over time. Like that's right. And that's right. And
that's what I was saying earlier about Berkeley County.
Yeah. And the other aspect of it is what we have mentioned right here. No, not that one. Well, we'll just bring it here. I just came off of this. So right here, when it comes down to hold on, let me hey. So when we come down to a debt instrument, right? And then we get into what this debt instrument is, right? Right here, it mentions maturity. Stated redemption price at maturity. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people don't understand. I'm not talking about everybody up here, but a lot of people don't understand, or they don't want to know that this aspect of doing things, that if you actually look at the presentment that is being given to you, it is a check. It's a check or a coupon. It's certified funds. Let's give it that better. In order for you to do what you need to do, regardless of what happens, if you endorse it in blank or if you give it a special endorsement, regardless, once you send it back to them, they are going to monetize that thing. Whatever it is. Now, let me let's do this. So I'm gonna go back to this part. Being the fact that most of the time over over a period of time, I should say, the initial company or financial institution, I like to call them, that closed the deal in service, they're out of there within like 6 to 9 months. I mean, at best, they might be there for a year, unless it's a credit union. Credit union, they do hold the notes. They have them. These other ones don't. You see what I'm saying? So if being that the case, these people, once you address this in this way, once you request your authenticated statement of account, right? Usually this too is going to come into place because they don't have the information unless they did a complete assignment that was proper. Then that, this too goes into place. They're going to have to provide you the name and title and the number of that. Now, I have records. I mean, I have record that I've got it done. I've gotten the real estate investment trust name, the REMIC, the QSIP number, the investor, and the servicer. They gave it to me because I know how to ask for it. Yeah, I got that. Like I said, once we get it together, I could do some show and tell. Not up here because it's not my information. Just somebody I was working with that I helped. But what I'm saying is this right here, they do not want you to ask for. See, legending, right? Legending. Do one of you guys nonetheless, or not, you guys want to just give everybody a quick meaning of legending?
Well, it ain't too complicated, but it is complicated because it has everything to do with accounting. So the bank's job is to zero out each account by the end of the night. They got to do this every night. So in order to do that, they can't report any debt on the books. So everything has to be at zero. That's what the ledger. So the ledger, by the time when they report back to from what I understand, when they report back to the FCC, they have to have everything at zero, where they are not occurring any debt. So
now, do they do that? Do we get any of that information nonetheless? In where basically, are we getting that information?
No, you're not, because that's why I wanted you to go in, because this is your wheelhouse when you talk about the OID. But I heard of it, but I didn't really study it because this is like far, like this is like fucking. I need somebody else. You know what I mean? It's like when you gotta have partners that's good at this shit, because this is a whole different level when you talk about the IRS, because that's what you're dealing with. Because I understand you have a 1099 OID, but you also have a 1099A for acquisition.
That's right.
And you have also the 1099A for abandonment, because after 3 years, if you don't zero out your end, they're going to incur that debt back to your estate. That's when you got all this debt, United States debt, because we don't know how to do this shit right here.
Right.
Is there two different 1099As? Because I thought they were the same thing. Abandonment and acquisition.
Yep, it's two different ones. 1099A for acquisition, 1099A for abandonment.
Yeah, I thought they was the same thing. Okay.
Nope.
No, well, the thing is, right? So, nonetheless, it's saying it's one 1099A, but it actually is two within that one. The way you make it acquisition. What'd you say?
You can use the same one, but for two different. If you want to use it for acquisition, you can, or if you want to use it for abandonment, you can. The same one,
based on the situation that you have.
Yep.
Now, what makes it an abandonment or acquisition is box 5. If you check box 5, it's an acquisition. If you don't check box 5, it's an abandonment.
Okay. Damn. This shit is real
Yeah.
tedious, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I was like, man, fuck this shit. I gotta get somebody else help me with this motherfucking shit right here, boy.
Well, I mean, but this is the key, because when you, man, this is, man, I'm telling you, man, let me tell you, 15 years ago, when somebody told me about this OID and all this information, and I started doing the math on it, I said, what? I was like, what? I mean, but Cass was getting locked up behind that, though, because what they were doing a process. The Treasury was cutting them a check, and then they was using debt notes. They was cashing it out. Man, as soon as that happened, man, they was knocking on their door. It was like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. Oh, the trap. See, this is what I'm saying. See, and this is what they was doing. They was actually they was getting checks, and then they would just go to the bank and cash it. And I was like, oh, y'all stupid. See, this is what they didn't understand about the trust situation. It's like you put that money and you protect it. You don't put the debt back out there, because once you do original issue discount, right? Once you do this original issue discount, bottom line is what you do is you make sure that
Hold on. I want you to repeat that. Hold on, Aton. I gotta let Taz hear this.
Yeah, you know I'll be talking fast,
Repeat
right? I
that.
do that on purpose.
Repeat that.
Nadia, I'll
Repeat
be
that.
talking fast. Nadia, I'll be talking
Go
fast.
ahead. Repeat
that on
that
purpose.
about becoming another debt, motherfucker. Repeat that.
Oh yeah, once you put once they was cashing that check, they was putting more debt out there, and they was supposed to have, and they was getting hit for that.
Damn.
But where you supposed to put the money?
You're supposed to slide it up under a trust.
For
or
why?
at least, or you can donate it. You could donate it into an account, like some type of nonprofit, tax exempt, some shelter.
No,
But you
no,
can't put
no,
the
no.
debt back into the
Hold on,
public.
Aton.
So you don't have to use it to originally offset
You don't want to put
the debt that
debt
came out of
back
mission for.
out when you just
You gotta put in a
debt.
non-interest bearing account. Non-interest bearing account.
Well, yeah, that too. But under the circumstances, what you're not supposed to do is go to the bank and cash it and get that money, that what they consider to be Federal Reserve notes in your hand. And that shit was being tracked, because you don't know, like the checks that they send out, they're warrants. Those are warrants. Those checks are warrants. Now, it ain't the warrant that you think a warrant for your arrest, but it's considered to be a warrant. A warrant is a security instrument that they're tracking, and they want to see what you're doing with it. So they said you zeroed out the account on the OID, and then you put the debt right back in there. Like, you don't know what you're doing.
Right. But listen this. How is the country in debt?
How is the country in debt?
Yes.
I don't know. Tell me.
Using the United States dollar debt note. Every time you use that note, you put in the country damn near $700 in debt, or $700 credit, 700 in credit in debt.
Right.
Every time you're using these dollar bills. So when you work through your estate and you're using your estate credit, you're no longer using the dollar bills, and you're balancing out the account. The reason we're going into debt, and we're putting the country into debt by trying to asset these other family notes, and not your own. You're not accessing your account. You're using your account as a collateral to go use their negotiable instrument.
Now, real quick question, Nani.
Yeah.
Being that we print up money out of thin air, are we really in debt?
We don't
Yes.
print but we don't print out the money. That's that's the Federal Reserve notes.
Yeah.
That's why
That's a
you
private
yeah.
company, bro. That's not us.
That's why you gotta know who
I mean, that
You
JP
was under
can't.
Morgan.
Roosevelt, wasn't it?
No, JP Morgan and the Rothschilds, the
Yeah, that was
Rockefeller and them,
Yeah,
bro.
I know, but
The
Roosevelt was the
preacher
the
president when
the
it came out
the,
there in the
the
30s,
preacher
right?
from Jekyll
not the
Island explained it, bro. Yeah.
33.
1913,
Oh, that Woodrow then.
and then the Brentwood Act of
Right.
what was that, 19 90.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Can't remember when the Brentwood
Nigga,
Act.
the federal look, hold up. The Federal Reserve, that's why I said people don't read the dollar bills, because you see they got Federal Reserve chopped up into regions. Now,
Yeah.
look, this is another thing people don't know. That the Federal Reserve has its own constitution.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ooh.
So
And
nigga, you
home base
can't tell me
offshore
your
ain't on nobody
constitution is
country neither.
something. Yep, and they all answer to it. They got their own laws and own constitution, own board of representatives, their
You
own
guys see
board of
this?
directors.
You see the screen?
Wowzers. Yep.
All right. It's enough of that.
Yeah. I got all of them things to buy.
Mm.
All right. So, and this is, and look, okay. So, in order, right? This is just me talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just sharing. Take it for what you will. Not an expert on this shit. All the nuances with that disclaimer. So you have a 1099. You have a
Taz said
1099.
pull him back up.
Hold on. Pull it back up. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So you got a 1099A, right? You got 1099A. That's your initial transaction, right? So your 1099A is a lender borrower, right? Your 1099A has lender borrower, right? Then that's the relationship that you have. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, what nonetheless is talking about, let me see if I can translate that. You can tell me I'm wrong, but this is just how I look at it. Your 1099A as lender borrower is you being the lender based on the acquisition. You check box 5. The other aspect of it is the new repurchase agreement that they gave to you, which made you the borrower, which now they're the lender, they're the borrower, and now you don't check box 5 because it's an abandonment. That means there's funds out there to be captured. You see what I'm saying? Then once you capture those things, you then become, now you can then come down and do a 1099C on the fact that the debt has been canceled, right? It's a canceled debt instrument, right? 1099C means cancellation of debt instrument, right? Debt instruments. Okay, once you have that in the instructions in the 1099A and C, 1099A and 1099C is on the same instructions. 1099 OID and INT is on the same instructions. What they say is in the 1099A and C instructions, you can use the 1099A by itself, or you could use them both. But the 1099A has to be used. So this is where, nonetheless, is talking about is two forms: A, acquisition; C, box 5 check; A, abandonment, box 5 not checked. You see what I'm saying? Then you hit the OID situation. The instructions say that you can use OID and INT, but you don't have to. You can use the OID by itself. OID and A trumps the C and the INT, because they in box 2 in the OID, they have a accrued interest in there. So once you get that together, you can actually get that pushed out, right? And you can actually look at the Investopedia, and Investopedia tell you, they kind of, don't really spell it out in 1212 and in the instructions, but you actually issue the OID to them as the payer. What they're supposed to do is issue it back to you, which you the recipient. There's your double lines right there. What nonetheless talk about. You operating in two positions, right? So you do operate in the plus sign, and you operate in the minus sign in order to create the zero. That's your GAAP principles, right? General accepted accounting principles. You got to get it back to a zero. And the only way you get those funds back to you, which is is what we call is principal return. What does it say? Interest return back to the principal. So that interest return back to the principal is actually you that put the debt out there in order for you to get the thing to live under the consumer law, which is for your own personal and family usage, not for profit. It is to be returned back to you because guess what? You're going to take those funds and do it all over again. You put it back into the system as an investment. Now, over the times, if you could get all the shit in order, and if you allow them to produce the Remick and all these other things, shit, why not? You're getting investment money on that because they're going to hypothecate that into 10 times that amount. That then produced the QSIP and the 1099B. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, where your B comes in, and that's where you get into another aspect where they're actually, that's your broker. 1099B is broker barter exchange form. So that's the broker, right? Remember in publication 1212, it actually talks about, what did we say right here? It talks about,
Man, I don't know about no motherfucking B and all that shit.
I know, that's what I'm telling you.
That's gonna be
Here you
the
go,
B
right
gonna
here.
be the
Check
one
this
for
out.
your
Check this out.
document as the broker.
Okay, check this out right here, right there.
You
Says
turn
brokers
that
and
into the IRS, but you don't turn that into the, if you're doing a refund, you don't turn that into the company that you're doing a refund
right,
against. You do
right.
you give the A and the C, a copy of the A and C in the
Yeah,
receipts.
yeah. The B is for auditing processes, right? That's for the auditing, right?
Yeah.
But it says right here, brokers and other middlemen can rely on the OID tables to determine for information reporting purposes. Now, the cool thing about it is, I mean, because I talked to a VP of the bank, and he pretty much said that they don't even. I asked him, I said, are all our deposits loans to the banks and credits? He said yes. I said, well, why don't we receive a 1099A or INT or otherwise? He said, because we don't consider you. I said, but do you file them? He said, yeah, we file them. Well, why don't we get them? He said, well, we don't have to give them to you. I said,
Yes,
you see what I'm
they don't
saying?
have to because you don't request them, and you're not filing for a refund. You see what's going on?
Yeah, that's why you got to do the abandonment. You got up to 3 years to do the abandonment
Right, and
because
see,
those funds are considered abandoned if you don't file it.
but see, they're making profit
Yeah, yep.
from it
Yeah, fact.
by it being abandoned
Off of your ignorance.
off your ignorance. So
Yep.
again, the A and the C, in simple terms, get all your receipts for, say, Family Dollar or the gas station. Everywhere you go, this is why they got that they advertise take picture over your phone to save all your receipts now. Because these receipts, as a business operator, you need these things if you're gonna file back for a refund through the 192. That's how you're gonna end up offsetting the debt again. Do you understand? We're not offsetting the debt. We're using these people thing and never going back for the refund. So it's
Right.
abandoned,
That's
and
what cool
they
said.
getting paid off of it because we're
That's what.
not doing what we're supposed to do, and they're putting us in debt as they're getting paid off of it.
Right. Because we looking they looking at us as being in dishonor for not operating our fiduciary duty to our family. Pretty
Yep.
much. That's why we tell you to learn trust. So you ain't got so we can get out of this shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry, I be sounding like a goddamn sore thumb all the time, but you guys was on some good shit, and they sound good, but I be sitting back and I hate to hit that parade, but move on the facts of truth. You know what I'm saying? And the evidence is here. We reading the evidence, but we got to be in position to actually apply these things. We're not in position as citizens. We're not in control of our own estate to really be truly identified by these operations.
Yeah, big fact.
All right. So shit, that was cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I'm at my
Yeah, I'm
345.
gonna hop down anyway. Yeah, I gotta make a phone call.
Hey,
Good
peace,
building with
peace,
y'all, bro.
peace to
Chad.
you, John. Hey,
Y'all
man,
just
appreciate you all day long, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, bro. Show up, man.
All
Dog,
right, for
yeah.
sure.
Ain't no bunch of riffraff over this motherfucker for real. For Aton be
Word, man.
doing some nice deals,
look,
bro.
we got cats up here that's heavy hitters.
Yeah, bro.
And they invited though. They invited, man. I tag them. I tell them what's up. Come through. Get some information.
Yeah, but we ready though. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready.
Dr. Mundo. Yeah. All right, none.
All right,
Darby,
man.
appreciate you coming up here, man.
I appreciate you having me, man.
I don't know how to. I know you ain't got a page. I
Everything
don't know how to.
man.
I don't know how to
I
contact
appreciate
you.
y'all having me. Thank you.
Yep. All right, Taz,
Bless.
Naughty.
Bless.
I don't know how to tag you, so you know. I guess you got Naughty contact. Just have Naughty.
Yeah, I'm always around my brother.
Yep.
I'm like a ninja. Y'all don't know that. Just sit here listening.
Yep.
All
you
right,
too,
bless.
Jarvis. Yeah, check in with Naughty. Oh
True
yeah.
that.
Yep. What up? That's my big bro right there. That's my big brother. Yep. You late, H. Sure, we already done knocked it down. You know, I'm at my 3:45. I try to stay under 4 hours. So, yep, we got that in. You know, hey, if you want the best, if you want the best shave, the best cut, best fade, hey, that's my brother right there. That's a bad boy.
Peace with God, man.
All right, peace to you guys, brother. All right, we're gonna check out on this. We're gonna play a song or two, and we out of here, man. We out of here. All right, hold on. Let's get this in chunk. Oh, let me just go to my histories. Let me go to my histories and just pull up that guy. And then we're going to pull up my man Draco's contribution. And and then we out of here, chill. We out of chill. Now this is H, if you listening, yeah, this partner Draco just sent this from a man from the LB. He made this for me real quick. Good looking out, Draco. Where you at?
No moving. No moving. No moving. Yeah. No moving. No moving. No moving.
I'm the coach, quotes coded in oak with a ghost loaded focus. Chrome in the coat, king with the cloak, smoking that hocus pocus. Infinite styles, pivot and pile up the mileage. I'm wild with the science. You see the line on my avatar, iron jaw pride. I to devour the silence. Why you niggas steady lying? Got me laughing hard, satire and fraud. I fire the squad. Wise get crossed when I'm sparring with all the guards. Author of art, carving a mark in the bark of the market at large. Target the sharks, heart of a Spartan. I sharpen the margin with bars. You rather bargain and dodge. I'd rather you come get your taxes done. Black suit, back room, facts in a stack. I'm relaxing the maximum. Get out of the pocket, the profit of rocket. Then I just might tax you punch. Bracket your funds, I'm stacking in chunks. Reacting to acid, you're begging to punch. Sometimes my community, hard-headed, scarred, dreading the lessons. I chart head and start spreading the message, embedded in pressure. Sovereign living, I'm private with it. No corporate percentage. Discharging debt with a pen stroke. You still don't notice the vision. I've been telling y'all you don't want to debate me. Weighty and ready. Great with machetes, linguistically shredding the petty. Grab these 15 acres. Landscape major, plan made paper. Land patent stamped and sacred since my campaign greater. I ain't talking about Ice-T when I say that I can show you law and order. Court recorder, I sort the torture, contort the border. I eat the case, beat the state, leave a trace of the raw supporter. Briefcase aura, got your baby mama thinking that I'm a lawyer. Seminole Indian sentiment, militant on sovereign soil. Private enrollment, tribal component. I'm the boss if you're trying to employ it.
Clutch, baby, infinite. Stop.
The last one, and we out.
Yeah, I can get your land back. Yeah, I can discharge your debt. You gotta live by 5 principles before we just connect. Cause you could pose as my friend and then really be the threat. Like Brutus Lee Julius to the dudes that killed Malcolm X.
Get your hand out of my pocket! Get your hand out of my pocket, nigga! Get your hands out of my pocket! Get your hand out! Brother, please.
Y'all think getting remedies important. We make your lawyers lose their indemnity insurance. King Chameleon, private. I don't wanna be popular. Grandpapa, Hunk Papa, Mama Black Mafia. Yeah, we them big owners holding rank. You call Rocket Lawyer, I call the owner of the bank. He in the private at the temple, like Ginobili in the paint. And we got 3 militaries, we might be rolling in some tanks. While you balancing with a check gross, going to work for debt notes. Overtime all your life paying mortgages, then you left broke. Damn. Shout out to Mayweather, who's obviously woke. He settled $18 million with a promissory note. I'm not your corporation's chattel, this world gotta be a joke. Blind leading the blind, so we never gonna see.
But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Everybody fake woke while the president is asleep. So I introvert myself cause it's evident to me. No one saves us but us. Buddha said it in BC. No title deeds, just reference the evidence to me. Man, you don't own it, you said it and it says it on your deed. You said with a sign but didn't take the time to even read. There's gotta be an idiocracy. They call you crazy as Kanye just for thinking logically. 2 million nationals backing us to stop who ain't stopping me. For instance, when Columbus came over here, they admitted Native Americans was already there. But if our kids take a test on who discovered land we on, and you say Native Americans, you get the question wrong. What? Don't lie to us, you are just a colonist. Can't hide the truth, we got all the proof from the anthropologists. We know the system now, it's time to get up out of it. But it's our fault, cause we fought so hard to be a part of it.
Now, I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's a blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
All people trying to burn us, out selling services with disclaimers, saying that it ain't for legal purposes. No cash, stroke gas, internet burglars with temporary schemes and a lot of fraudulent dreams. Yeah, we got our own embassy, we got our own consulate, foreign administrations and 3 armies on top of it. We live by 5 principles, but we'll die for this. Freedom back to the people, protect them from the apocalypse. I took that title that they gave me and I clouded it. That's what you say, sets the QB. I got a bond with this. My way of thinking pissed the military off. I ain't with their way of thinking, Roman military law. We coming peaceful outside the mosque and the cathedral, and we'll resort to violence. I gotta protect my people. They call us ghetto, they call us thugs. The only God they worship, guns, oil, and drugs. I'm on the block, Martin Luther King was shot, holding a gun that killed Kennedy, trying to find a remedy. You can't cancel me nor censor me with chancery and sensory, God-like energy to infinity. My actions are my testament. I got a lot of questioning. How Ben Frank was on 100 but was never president. You broke, you go to jail. You got money, you get right out. They lock you up for drugs, but they got coke in the White House.